Welcome into your Tuesday night here on World Class Bullshitters. I'm your host, G.M.P.C, and with me tonight are my wonderful co-hosts. First off, you know him, you love him, all the way from the Rippaverse, by way of, well, America. Say hello to Andy Andrew.
What's going on, Jeff? What's going on, chat? Congratulations to you, Jeff. Stealing Solo 2, Power of the Farce, already hit its first funding goal. We're going to keep it rocking. We're going to keep it soaring ever higher. Chat, thank you for supporting that. But I'm happy to be here. We got some fun topics planned that we'll totally not cover.
Absolutely. And speaking of we, Andrew, we are joined by our other co-host. He doesn't have his own universe, but he will soon because the Doomiverse shares a little crossover with the Wokebusters. Say hello to the one, the only Aaron Sparrow.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Again, I want to reiterate what Andrew said. Congratulate you on being 100% fully funded. Looking forward to unlocking those stretch goals. So I hope that as always is the case when the second book comes out, that people who didn't jump in on the first are grabbing that one so they can prepare for the second.
I would like to, before we talk about anything else, I'd like to thank you guys, and I'd like to thank Wes from Thinking Critical and Literature Devil and everybody who's been helping me reach this goal. Folks, we've been live for a week. We already passed our first funding goal, and I couldn't have done it alone. You guys are making this stuff a possibility. I make it for you guys because I read the messages, I see the numbers, and I know that you guys want more Stealing Solo, so it's here. But I want to thank everybody who's making this a possibility because it's not just me. Everybody out there is spreading the word. I'm seeing people on Twitter sharing it. It's starting to build up momentum, and it's getting really exciting. So, folks, Clone Geek, I'll forgive you for being late. But, folks, we are fully funded. I am going to tell everyone more about the stretch goals a little later on in tonight's show. But everybody is getting a Stealing Solo, The Power of the Farce keychain that will be shipped with your book. And if you back now, you will get every bonus level unlock. So we're talking magnets and more. But we will talk about that in just a smidge Pinciotti. But I want to thank everybody again. I'm excited. Stealing Solo 2 is going to be a reality. So be on the lookout for that, folks.
Heck yeah.
I guess we're starting out with some sad news for you, Andrew. Richard Attenborough, a.k.a. John Hammond, has died.
We're not gonna get 5 minutes in to the show. We're
4
already
minutes
doing
exactly.
This. Man,
well, that's a shout
my
out to
reputation
Enrique,
precedes me.
And Andrew, sadly, Andrew also John Wayne has passed.
Yeah,
that one I knew. Richard Attenborough, when he passed, that was actually pretty sad because I.
Are you saying John Wayne passing wasn't sad? Is that what you're saying, Andrew?
I don't think that happened in our lifetime, did it?
I didn't have the attachment to him, man. Like I wore out the VHS tapes for Jurassic Park and Lost World.
What about the Searchers? What about True Grit? Why didn't you wear out those videotapes, Andrew?
Because I didn't own them as a kid.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't even seen those movies. I will talk shit all day, but I'm not going to lie about a movie I haven't seen.
Bad news, Rock Hudson died from AIDS, says Clone Geek.
Oh, no.
Damn.
That broke my grandma's heart, my mom told me. She's like, Your grandma thought Rock Hudson was so handsome, and then she found out he was gay and was just heartbroken. I'm like, oh, like you with Elton John, Mom. It must be, you know, it runs in my family.
How did anyone not know that Elton John was gay?
I was going
It
to
was
say,
the
like,
70s,
that's
man. We weren't
I
around
mean-
back then. People were simpler.
I remember I mean, I guess
Fair
people
enough.
just didn't think about it. Like they didn't assume that anybody was gay because they didn't know anybody was gay. But like, I mean, from the moment I was a kid and I saw Liberace, I didn't even know what gay was, but I was like, that guy's gay.
You're correct. It was the
That
sequin
makes sense.
jumpsuits and the candelabras.
I love that joke in Austin Powers. The ladies loved him. I can't believe it.
That the first Austin Powers has a lot of gold. I know a lot of people jump to the second one, myself included, as being the superior movie, but the first Austin Powers is really good. It's that third one that falls apart.
Yeah, is that the one with
Beyonce.
Beyonce,
Yeah,
yeah.
God,
Not a fan.
no.
I don't get, like, when I was watching something and they're like going on about her being the queen of this and that. I'm like, what is it, like a marketing tactic? Because I remember Destiny's Child and I've heard tons of her songs. She's not the world's greatest anything. I guess people have low standards. So
No, they have low standards. She's like become like the queen of the whores.
oh.
You know, it's just like it's the bad role models. It's the Kardashians, the Beyonce.
I was going to say, she, you know, she was a bad influence on a whole generation of young girls.
Yeah, and it's all the witchcraft nonsense and just all of that stuff. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't think that she's all that special. I mean, I'm not going to say that she's not talented, but let's be honest, like 18 people write those songs of hers and it's not like they're that great. I mean, you know how many people wrote Bohemian Rhapsody, one of the greatest songs of all time? One guy, Freddie Mercury. And then, you know, Beyonce has a song that's mostly her saying baby or that god awful Who Runs the World, you know, song with these things. And that's got like 5 or 6 different producers and people that wrote it. And it's like, really? It took all that people to make this? And by the way, we know who runs the world, Beyonce. It's a cabal of elite pedophiles that you and your husband are a part of.
Yeah, Jay-Z's got to be connected to something nefarious. I don't trust that dude.
No, come on.
You go from writing Big Pimpin' to being what you are.
Wasn't he
okay.
connected with P. Diddy?
Yeah.
Most
Every
rappers-
day,
Even
every
at those
day.
parties.
Every day, assuming that they're not swinging, Beyonce wakes up next to a gooba fish from the Phantom Menace.
Wow. That's damn.
Guys,
That's
again,
rough,
I'm
man.
sorry. I'm sorry, man. I'm on Vicodin for my jaw surgery, and so I'm still pretty loopy as I
God
was
bless
on
you.
Saturday. Jeff has already witnessed the pure unfiltered like lunacy on Saturday.
But the thing, folks, is don't accept Aaron's apology. Get ready, because it just means everything's about to get really, really good.
It's just about to be funnier up in here. That's all.
Yeah. This is going to be a hell of a show. So let's get tonight's show rolling the way we always do, with the word of the day from our friend Shrebels08. The word of the day is a tasty word. The word of the day is pie. Debbie does American Pie. Pie Horizon. Fistful of American Pie. The Man from Pie. Pie Fiction. My Black Ass presents Dion Green and White Cherry Pie. And Madam Pie.
I have dreams.
Field of Pie.
Also,
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really like this game.
well, there's unfiltered Aaron.
Yeah.
Well,
listen, I've tried to be a good sport, but for God's sakes, no, I'm kidding.
what you need is just a nice slice of pumpkin pie. It's the season. That'll make you feel better, right? Is that your favorite pie? What is your favorite pie, Aaron?
I like a good banana or coconut cream.
Both delicious.
I like a pumpkin pie. I like a rhubarb pie. You know.
How do you feel about poontang pie?
That's. I mean, who doesn't love that?
You pie.
Thank you, Andrew. So today is actually the anniversary of me becoming a wrestling fan. On this day in 1999, I started watching wrestling religiously. And the next week, The Rock would cut a promo. He had like a table full of pies. And I didn't know what poontang pie was at 11 years old. But I learned very quickly
you didn't.
what a lot of stuff was from The Rock.
You learned what he meant when he said that Kurt Angle was into that moon pie?
Yeah.
And when he was hitting on Lillian Garcia and asking
You
if
get wet.
she wanted
Get
one of the part of the
perspiration.
yeah, wanted the rock strudel, right?
The that was probably the second. I always gauge like happy eras. I'm not like a miserable person at all, but as a kid, I was a Power Ranger kid. I was very happy. I
Yeah.
wanted to morph and all that stuff. It was great. But then I got into wrestling, and that was exciting too. And that one stuck. I don't still watch Power Rangers. Sorry, folks. I know I draw comic books and talk about toys, but I draw the line at watching the Power Rangers. I just You know how much I watch Power Rangers, guys? On Netflix when you click on a show and it plays you like 5 seconds? There is a section that, like, if you hover over the Power Rangers, it just plays them fighting a monster. Every once in a while, I'll watch that because it plays the theme song, and I go, "Yep, that was enough."
Yeah,
and I'm good. I'm
That's
feeling it.
fair. Actually, speaking of toys and Power Rangers, do you guys see that Toy Battalion is releasing like a Green Ranger or like new Green Ranger version of
A
like
movie?
the movie suit?
I did, and now I want to buy the entire set.
See, I kind of would consider getting the whole set, but I'd honestly just be happy with getting the 2 versions of Tommy. Like, that's all I'd need, really.
See,
Even honestly, just the Green Ranger, I'd be happy.
Well, you might be able to. If I decide to buy the set, I will sell you the Green Ranger for we'll break it down in 6 parts. And I don't want the Green Ranger because he wasn't in the movie. And I only collect shit that's accurate. So I would pass that along to you. But
I would happily do that.
So let's see some more pie titles for Shrebbles 08. Shrebbles 08 was sponsoring he produced the Literature Devil show. So this morning, folks, I was over there. We were talking, it was Tuesdays and Dragons. So I'm trying to think of a dragon movie title, like Pie Heart. There you go. Or
Eye of Fire or Reign of Pie.
Oh, I like Reign of Pie.
Here's a terrible one. Pie Heart Huckabees. There we go. That was shit. Or, to keep on with my terrible puns, Pie Love You, Man.
That's pretty good.
Anything with I in it is going to be now Pie Shrebbles 08. That's officially here on the channel. So, Pie left my heart in San Francisco.
Puff the Magic Pie.
Ooh, I can get down with that. Well, let's
Lives
see.
by the sea.
You remember in Meet the Parents when Ben Stiller explained to him that it was about weed, and he's like, "No, Greg, it's about a boy and his magical dragon."
That's what I thought when I was a kid, because Pete's dragon was around, and I was like, "Yeah, that's what it's about."
Pete's Pie.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Say it fast enough, it sounds like pizza pie.
I didn't know that Shebop or turning Japanese was about masturbation. I had a friend who didn't know.
I was today years old when I learned that bit.
I didn't know that Stroke by Billy. Well, I knew. I had a friend who didn't know that Stroke by Billy Squire was about what it's about, because it's got the part in it where everybody's going stroke, stroke. She thought it was about a Viking ship. She was very naive. She's like, I used to roller skate to that.
No.
How do you not know that Shebop is about masturbation? Because she says the line, I better get a chaperone because I can't stop messing with the danger zone.
Come on, what does danger zone mean on Archer? It just means that, you're fooling around with somebody else. I didn't know it was about self-pleasure. I just thought it meant that, you were hanging around with the wrong crowd.
Now, I don't know if this is real or just some bullshit I read online, but apparently she recorded that song topless in the dark. So,
okay.
I respect what it is.
I guess nobody could corroborate that.
I've never really fantasized about Cyndi Lauper or her pie, but she's a good singer, and I do like her.
She's an iconic entertainer. She's never been my slice of pie.
If back in the day you had asked me who I thought who would have a career that was bigger, Cyndi Lauper or Madonna, I would have said Cyndi Lauper because she is more talented. What I could not have guessed was the levels to which Madonna would be willing to degrade herself over the years in order to stay in the spotlight. So I don't feel bad that my prediction, I would have predicted wrong.
Yep.
Madonna had a really bad cover of American Pie.
Oh God, I remember that.
Did she really? I don't think I've heard it. I think I'll keep it that way. I actually like that song.
No, that's a great song. Although I will say that Weird Al's cover of it for
The Saga Begins.
Yeah, for The Saga Begins is fantastic.
The Pie Begins, Shrebbles 08. You begin a pie with sugar. And then there's, more desserts. Sorry, now I'm hungry. It's late at night. I'm done eating for the day, but now I kind of want
Pie.
Now you made me want pie. Now I'm thinking about I'm thinking about key lime pie. I'm just thinking about all the different kinds of pies.
Key lime.
Yeah,
It's
That's
delicious.
not a real. That's not a real pie.
It is.
What?
It is. Right after. Okay, listen. Right after you have some Mexican food and some margaritas, finish it off with a slice of key lime pie. You'll be glad you did.
Yeah, can we get an agua fresca to go with that too?
Oh man, I love agua fresca. I'm
I'll
sure
go
it's
with
like
the frozen
loaded with
margaritas and stop there. Or
No,
I'll get a nice apple pie or a cherry pie.
Those do
or a
not go
peach
with the
pie.
margaritas, Andrew. They do not go
with
the
that
margaritas.
attitude. They don't.
That's fair.
Enough margaritas and the right attitude, they will.
Shout out to Nathan in the chat. Stop or my pie will shoot. I just want to watch that movie.
Oh,
Put a still getting.
I feel like that's like code for something else.
Oh, it definitely is. And she's 80 years old too, Andrew. Let's vomit together.
Did you guys ever see the Norm Macdonald skit on Saturday Night Live where he's in a car accident and he's being rescued by Sylvester Stallone and all he can do is talk about how terrible Sylvester Stallone movies are?
No, I need to watch that.
He's like, "Oh my God, I've been in this horrible accident and now I'm being rescued by the star of Oscar." And then Stallone's like, "Hey, come on, I'm trying to help you here." And then like Norm passes out and he's trying to get him out of the car. And Norm's like, stop, or my mom will shoot.
Oh, he was the best. I loved Norm Macdonald. Even as a kid, I was a big fan.
I saw him just doing a stand-up about chopping up your family and burying them by the railroad tracks because the devil told you to. And like that was long before he was ever like famous. It was just he was a young stand-up and he was doing that bit. And I was like, this guy's really good. And I was right. I had a good eye for talent.
Indeed, you do, sir. Indeed,
I would agree with that.
Even as a child.
Same.
Even as a young lad.
I was gonna cheat earlier though, Shrubble's and do the Life of Pi, but I didn't.
Oh,
I
would have respected it.
The pie of pie. You could have just doubled down.
Oh, well,
hey,
okay, fine. The pie of pie it is.
That makes it sound like it's a really good pie, right? Like you're like, do you want pie or do you want the pie of pies?
Yeah, this is a pie's pie right here. And if you honestly, I think chicken pot pie might be one of my pie of pies. I love chicken pot pie.
Chicken pot pie, people that don't get it, and they're not real people and can't be trusted. But chicken pot pie is delicious.
I just don't know how you don't like chicken pot pie. It's so like basic. It's just chicken and gravy and vegetables and pie crust.
And a delicious buttery pie crust.
Yeah, it's literally just. I see that as an absolute win.
It's like everything that you've done,
Shrubbles 08. You see what you've done to us today, man? You've turned us into all frothing pie maniacs.
Right. I mean, we're men, aren't we? That already.
This is what happens, though. Like,
regardless of the context.
This is what happens even on aficionados. Is one person brings up food, and then it becomes food aficionados, whether it's fast food or restaurants or like whatever. We talk about that for like a half hour, and people, much like here, are going like, "Are you guys ever going to address the topic?" And we're like, "I don't know, maybe not."
Well, you have Sully on that show too, who's a chef, and that dude just knows his stuff. So,
and when Josh McDonald is on too, that guy can cook. So it's like you get the two of them. When we did Dallas last year, Josh got up and cooked breakfast every morning, and it was fantastic.
I had told you guys that I had to go to a Friendsgiving after aficionados, and I had made a pumpkin cheesecake and took it to this party, and well, everybody ate it right away, and I had everybody tell me how good it was. So somebody in the chat was like, "I imagine Jeff could make good food." You were right, chat. You were definitely right.
Oh, a pumpkin cheesecake.
Oh, how did we not get the James Bond title, The Pie Who Loved Me? Seriously, how did we not get that one? I watched A View to a Kill this afternoon. I fucked up.
Tomorrow Never Pies.
So it was like, was it
Golden Pie?
Tinker Tailor Soldier Pie?
Ooh, I like that. I want that on a t-shirt.
Hold on. No. How are we all skipping this one? Octopi.
I used to make my brother laugh. When we would watch
There's
that movie.
There's 2 jokes in that.
Yes, because you get to the point where she goes, my father, used to call me his little octopussy. And I would always make Roger Moore say, "Well, I think your father had a filthy mouth." And then my brother would always lose it.
God,
that's amazing.
God awful.
Maud Adams was
wonderful.
hot.
I love it.
I was totally into her character, and I was like, yeah, octopussy.
Just Watch her in The Man with the Golden Gun. She's a better character in that one.
Oh, that's right. She's in that one
And
too.
it came out like 10 years earlier, even though she aged incredibly well.
Is Octopussy the one that has the circus performers, or am I confusing that?
Yes,
with a
it
different
is.
One? Okay. Yeah, I like that one because they were like these weird twins, and in my head, I was like, this is as close as I'll ever get to Tomax and Zaymot on screen. Like just these acrobat twins or whatever.
Yeah, and then one got stabbed and stuck to a door, and the other one.
Yeah, and Roger Moore's like dressed up as a clown at one point.
Yep. I get into arguments online with people because we were celebrating the 30th anniversary of GoldenEye the other day on the show, and this guy's like, Pierce Brosnan's the worst James Bond, and everything he did was terrible. I'm like, have you watched Octopussy, dude?
I think Octopussy is better than Moonraker.
See, those are the two bottom of the barrel for me. It's like I lose no matter what. It's like The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. I hate them both.
Yeah, Moonraker's just boring. At least
it is.
Octopussy has some entertaining things going on. But I will say Live and Let Die is pretty high on my list.
Same, top 5 for sure. I love that one. That's my favorite Roger Moore movie by a country mile.
Mike Angerhauser in the chat says how to lose a pie in 10 days. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Oh, I can lose a pie in 10 minutes.
Yeah, same here.
28 pies later, that dude is either sprawled out or he looks like Lizzo before she started to lose weight.
He's a diabetic. He's going into a sugar coma, and he's not going to make it past Wednesday if he eats 28 pies.
He's not going to make it past 11 a.m.
Now, Aaron, you had mentioned coconut cream and banana. Those are pies that I could probably eat like a whole pie and then feel really bad about myself. Like, really bad.
You'd feel great about yourself while you were doing it. And then, like, afterwards, you would hate yourself.
Yeah,
man,
like, what have I done?
That should be our next book, just about a guy who gets superpowers after he eats so much he becomes shameful. That's how he unlocks his superpowers. Not puberty.
No, I'm thinking that we still need. I was seriously putting together ideas for Meth Shark versus Crack Bear, because I think we have to go Crack Bear because we can't go Cocaine Bear because obviously we'll get in trouble. But
that's
Meth
true.
Shark
Hey,
versus Crack Bear.
I want to do that. Can we do it like Kaiju? Can Meth Shark have grown legs at some point and just walks through the city?
Oh yeah, no, that definitely has to happen. Like so here's what I'm thinking. We want to be topical. So Trump blows up a fentanyl boat, right? And a bunch of drugs go into the water. And so the shark gets a hold of some meth, and he mutates some legs like in Peter Benchley's The Creature, and he can walk on land, and he's so high he doesn't even realize that he's not breathing. He's just fine.
Okay, so but my question to you though, because I'm tracking with you, how do we differentiate that from I say we like the royal we as though I'm part of this because I'm not. But like how do you
you're in. We need an editor. Like I can't be editor if I'm co-writing.
You're already a fantastic editor. But how do you differentiate that from James Gunn's retarded King Shark in his Suicide Squad movie? Because he may as well have been on drugs because he was an idiot. And he's a shark that's big and on
why does every superhero ensemble have a Drax now?
Because Guardians of the Galaxy made a bunch of money one time.
Let's be clear. While Dave Bautista was funny at times, that wasn't Drax from the comic books.
No, not at all.
They turned him into this distilled, watered down, just like comedic relief for no need whatsoever because you already had Rocket. You already had Peter. You had so much comedic relief already. At that point, you need somebody a little more serious to be the relief from the comedy.
In the James Gunn film, everybody is comic relief. That's
true.
That's kind of generally the thing.
That's true. Even like characters, now that I think about it, like a character like Gamora or gosh, why am I blanking on her name right now?
Nebula.
Thank you. Like they had funny moments because of like the timing and the delivery, but they're not supposed to be funny characters.
No, you get a different kind of funny because with Nebula or Gamora, you get like an unexpected line, or you get with Nebula, you get deadpan. Like she bites into that root after being told that it's not ripe. And she chews on it all dramatically, and then
right. They're like the Zeppo to the rest of the Marx Brothers.
Mm-hmm. By the way, they're all dead.
I'm talking about.
They all passed away.
after they were mailed Henry James's diary.
The
So
only
not
reason
bad.
I thought of that, Andrew, because I was like, you had no idea. Like, you're like, I haven't seen any of these John Wayne movies. But then you reference something like the Marx Brothers. You're always surprising me with like the things that you don't know, and then the things that you do know that you shouldn't know.
I agree.
I shit you not. I grew up watching all of those films because my family has the complete DVD set of those. I adore those movies. Those are some of the best comedies on the planet ever.
Very good. Mike Angerhauser has a good one with Pies Wide Shut.
They weren't shut in that movie. I've seen that film. They were.
I feel like the context of that could be really good or really bad.
Have you seen that one, Andrew?
Eyes Wide Shut? I have not.
Oh, there's just so much nudity. You should watch it.
I heard that at the end, the original Kubrick version, they sell their daughter into the sex cult. And it was basically like Kubrick's, it was a commentary on what Kubrick sees going on in Hollywood, you know, and then that's, you know, and then, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of conspiracy theories around it. Like, and then they didn't allow him to do it. And then he died shortly thereafter, or, you know, so it's like, but yeah, just interesting stuff around that movie.
I rented it from my library and they didn't question me as a kid. So I got one over on the local librry.
They're like, oh, he's renting a Tom Cruise film. Tom Cruise makes those action movies.
Yeah, I love David Thunder. If only he was a real race car driver, I would like NASCAR more.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe if Tom Cruise was a spy, the world would be a better place. I think things would be more. I think more shit would get done if Tom Cruise actually held power. Because he's kind of crazy, but he gets shit done.
He does get stuff done.
And even stuff that, like, remember stuff that he was like mocked for, like the interview with Matt Lauer. You know, Matt Lauer. Well, no, the Oprah one he should, because that was out of control, weird. Like
it was been a little weird there.
It was tough to like overlook that for a long time. But when he was on like with Matt Lauer talking about, you know, Matt's being glib and here's the history of psychiatry and here's why, you know, it's not helping people, and everybody was like mocking him and being like, oh, he's, you know, lunatic Scientologist. And then, you know, the more we
there was also that interview that he did, I forget who it was with, but where he was talking about the potential dangers that we don't know yet of like over vaccinating people and things like that.
Yeah, and big pharma and you know, and he turned out to be right about all of that.
like all right, man. Had no idea that was going to be a thing.
Well, remember, like when Jim Carrey and Jenny McCarthy were talking about like vaccines way back in the day, and like whether or not there was a link to autism.
Mm-hmm. I remember her. I didn't know Jim. I mean, Jim Carrey is married to her, right?
Yeah, that's why he was in there. I think.
It's good for him. I always liked Jenny McCarthy growing up. Singled Out. That was a good show.
Mm-hmm. She was good in basketball.
I have seen that movie one time back in the 90s, and I haven't watched it since.
I don't dislike it. I just forgot. The silver lipstick, and she's like giving the guy the trailer hitch, and she's like, "Here, I got it all off like you asked."
Well, hot dang.
Clone Geek asked, if Stealing Solo hits 1 million, can we get a Buffalo Jeff and Dion doing a Total Eclipse of the Heart? If you help me get that book to cross $1 million, I will hire a film crew. We will make the full music video with Buffalo Jeff and Dion.
I need this.
Really,
Jeff,
I'm not joking.
Jeff, I'll go you one further. We get to 1 million. Let's go to the Nerdrotic Vegas meetup this year, and we'll duet Total Eclipse of the Heart karaoke.
Carrying in a pony keg and giving off sparks.
Yeah.
All right, folks, help me make that 1 million so we can do that, because I would love to go ahead and make musicals. They're like, my family would not understand this. They're like, oh, congratulations, you made all this money from your other book. What are you gonna do? Well, I have a bunch of obligations. I'll tell you next Christmas. And then I think what I'll do is I'll just send it all to my family. Like, hey, did you know I was in a musical this year? I told my audience if we had 1 million copies sold, $1 million. It doesn't need to be 1 million copies. That's shit. That'd be $25 million in cash. I might disappear $25 million in cash.
I was gonna say, guys, we do want him to finish out the trilogy. Okay.
Oh, I would do that no matter what. I wouldn't go like, hey, I just made $25 million. Bye. It would be, oh my God. Okay, let's.
Well, we know you wouldn't launch the campaign at least and then take the 25 million and disappear. Oh, so at least there's that.
Hey, I've done, let's see, 2 Stealing Solos. I've done 5 campaigns, and that's never happened. So I don't think it's gonna happen.
I mean, that's
ever.
Jeff is a man of integrity and funnies. That's what he is.
So I was talking yesterday on working on Black and White with Sins of the Father with Art to Bear. And somebody comes in the comment and he's like, "Oh, is this actually going to publish?" and blah blah blah. Because I was like, someone said that I was like anti CG, and I was like, I'm not anti anything. I'm pro individual. I'm not part of any group, and I don't care what flag anybody flies if individually they're cool. And I was like, and I wrote a CG book, if you want to get technical, because I co-wrote Sins of the Father with Art to Bear. And it's really good, and you should check it out. It's some of the best art that he's ever done.
He's a fantastic artist.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Real nice guy too. And I almost had a nervous breakdown writing that book, but not because of that book, but just because of other stuff that was going on. And it was a weird position for me because it's been a long time since I've written something where I had worked on the outline with somebody, and there kind of like wasn't any deviation from it. I'm used to like having a lot of creative control, even once you get the outline done and everything. So it was kind of a different challenge for me. But somebody was like, "Oh, is this book going to come out?" Blah blah blah, and I'm like, artist delivered on every single book that
I was gonna say, how many Black and Whites is he up to as well right now?
Yeah, this is like the third one. He's done art books and things like that. Like everything that he's done, like there's your Billy Tucci's, your Aaron Lopresti's, your Art to Bears. These are the guys who they do one project. They fulfill that project. They launch their next project. They're not doing
then
like
they reinvest the funds from the successful and fulfilled project into the next one to get that going and get that a head start.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, and then they put it up and then they work on it throughout the year and then fulfill it before they do their next one. So it's like, yeah, you can count on that. But it just goes to show you how like kind of like crowdfunding has been damaged by all these campaigns that have not been fulfilled, and the person's done like 8 campaigns, and there's people are still waiting on number 6, and we're like soliciting number 16. Just kind of shows you how that all hurts. But Jeff's not doing that either. Jeff does a campaign, fulfills it, moves on to the next one.
Yeah. I also like to do my books beforehand because it's really hard to promote a book when it's not done, and because you don't know what to me. Okay, I know this sounds crazy, but my book, while it's done, there's like 3 stages of it. And I write it, I draw it, and then I give it one more pass in terms of scripting, because sometimes you come up with better jokes. Sometimes you can look at the art and go, man, this would work here. I can do this and tie this together. Like on Wokebusters, there were a lot of those last minute things where I was like, if I tie this from this part to, like, you're just tying it all together type of thing. But I can't.
It's basically your second draft.
Yeah.
Right?
And I don't really know how to promote. If I don't know how to talk about a book and promote it if it's not complete in that way. Like the only thing with Stealing Solo 2 I'm worried about is not spoiling anything for people, because it's that kind of stuff. And I always like to imagine or believe the best in people. But I also won't make excuses or make up bullshit or lies. I'll just be myself and, carry myself a certain way. And all I can do is tell people like, hey, we crossed our funding goal. Everybody that backed it will get it. And everybody that backs it in the future will get it too. And I'm going to be working quickly through the holiday season. The only time I'm going to take a full break is when I go up to visit my Michigan family, which is Dion and the kids. But we're going to get that stuff out February because I have to get these books for conventions. And then I want to get Frankenfisher out next year. So then I want to be done with this and beat Spaceballs to the damn punch.
There you go.
I hope people.
It's Josh Gad, man. It's not going to be good. So like you've already won. You've already won by having a funny book. Like Josh Gad's not funny.
Putting Josh Gad in anything is like dooming your project to like mediocrity and not funniness.
Well, and putting him in charge of it is even worse. And he's going to be like the son of Barf or something. Barf died. He got into some chocolate. It'll be some dumb joke like that, and he'll be like the son of Barf, and it'll be like, you haven't earned what John Candy has earned.
Well, I read from a couple sources that John Candy's son is actually playing the son of Barf.
I see really? That I'm cool with. Hopefully he's
I had read that multiple times in multiple places. So if that's the case, I'm okay with it, but I don't want to fall into the trap of emotion over story, because that's The Force Awakens. It's literally, this movie doesn't make any sense, but everybody's emotionally invested because we get to see Han Solo again. And I roll my
That's
eyes.
just
I'm
the
like, we have to
relying
watch
on the
him
member
die.
berries, right?
What
And
is it the Red Letter
nostalgia.
Media guys did? Like I recognized the thing on screen and I clapped when I saw it.
I was so glad they
That's
didn't
true.
like those movies because
Yeah.
I was like, that is why I made the book. But like, I was literally living on Lonely Island. Like, I'll never forget. I look over to my friend and I said, "Don't you fucking say it," because he always had this line he would say after a movie. He goes, "That was fantastic." I was like, "Don't you fucking say it." He goes, "I won't say it was fantastic, but," and then I was like, "I don't want to hear it." And then from the movie theater to the car, I just bitched the whole way. And then we went home. I went home and I recorded a podcast about it. But like, that guy, he's gonna fall into that damn trap. And I hate that entertainment falls into that trap because I don't want everyone to be a damn Vulcan. I'm not asking people to be logic over emotion. Don't get me wrong. That would take away the spice of life. But
If a movie doesn't make you feel something, it's not doing its job. Right.
and if the movie relies on just making you feel a certain way but has no substance, like, I watched the first Star Wars. It gets me amped up when I watch the Battle of the Death Star, Battle of Yavin. But it has substance. It has good editing. It's original. It's not like, hey, we're just gonna do what Star Trek did, or we're just gonna do what something else did. No. That's what I hate about so much crap. Yeah, emotionally excited. Dr. Coffinails heard the commentary.
I remember leaving the theater after Force Awakens, and my friend's like, "What did you think?" And I was like, "I did not care for it." I said, "But I get it." Like, I was like, "You just paid $4 billion for this property. You're doing this soft reboot. You're not willing to take any chances because you paid $4 billion for it."
You played it
like,
super safe.
Could not have been more safe because it's just
to the point where there was almost zero creativity involved.
Yeah, it's just what if it's bigger? Like,
what if we just do a slightly larger version of A New Hope or just Star Wars to some people, and like just change the names of the characters?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't like the villain. I knew Han was going to die because I knew that he wanted to die in Return of the Jedi. So everything was like really paint by the numbers and really predictable. I said, but like the second movie, that's where you can kind of break away and you can do something interesting. And people were already in my group were already going like, oh, that the Gray chick was kind of a Mary Sue. Like, why is she more powerful than and I was like, well, look, again, playing it safe. The second movie is where, you hit your emotional low point. She's going to do something. She's going to screw up. She's going to lose a limb, or she's going to get somebody killed or something.
The second movie is when Luke got his ass kicked, right?
Yeah, and then that didn't happen in the second movie, so I was wrong. So I didn't like it, but I was more charitable. I wasn't excited for the second movie, and that was just coming off of Rogue One, which I did really like.
Same.
But I wasn't excited for The Last Jedi, and I was immediately annoyed at the crawl. And then when they started the Yo Mama jokes, I was like, oh no. And my friend Alan said, he goes, I could feel like the anger radiating off of you the further we got into the film. And he goes, and you were sitting back in that posture that you get when you don't like something or when you're not particularly interested or engaged. And he goes, and it wasn't until the throne room scene where Kylo started talking about both sides, like both sides being played and we're kind of like the break the wheel speech is what I would describe it. And he goes, that's the only point that you sat up and were remotely interested. And he goes, and then it just went back to being crap. And you just flopped back in your seat. And I could tell you had given up, but you were pissed off.
It's so
I couldn't
funny
stop
because
laughing during that movie.
The movie was bad. It was really not.
But you weren't laughing with it, like, oh, the wacky casino scenes. You weren't
right.
like, this is
delightful. You're laughing at it because it was just that bad, right? I remember with Force Awakens, me and my buddy that I went to see it with, and we had done film classes together and things like that, and script writing classes together. And we were both big sci-fi, big Star Wars fans. We went and saw it, and of like our entire friend group, as well as like our entire class in college, we were the only two people who were like, that movie wasn't it, man. Like that. I wasn't here for it. We were like, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen on screen, but it was just a weaker version of A New Hope. So I'd rather just watch that. Last Jedi, though, I saw that with my ex, and that is to date still the only movie that upon first viewing, I got up at some point in the middle of to use the restroom because I was just that uninterested. And she turned to me like when I got back and was like, you just got up and used the restroom? You never do that. I was like, she's like, you really don't care about this movie at all. And I was like, nope. And I was
the
like, what did
urinal
I
cake.
miss?
The urinal cake was of more interest to me than anything that was happening on screen.
And the scene that I missed was just the stupid kamikaze scene, right? With
Rose Tico's sister.
Rose Tico, yeah, like that's it. That's the only thing I missed.
That's like right at the beginning too. You like were already
not that one. I'm talking about like where Rose Tico. Like she crashes or stops. She stops Finn.
Yeah, the one impactful thing that could happen in the film, and you stop it because you got to subvert our expectations even on that. And then she wanted a little kiss, so it's all.
And it was a stereotype too. The Asian lady's the bad driver. Like that movie. That's the thing. Those movies are so full of racial stereotypes, and they don't realize it. So they think they're being progressive, but the funny part is they're like Finn is the goofball, and you make the black guy look like an idiot, and he's chasing after the women the whole time, and he has no agency of his own.
I was waiting for him to put on the big minstrel lips and just like do a little soft shoe dance, and like I was like, what are you doing to this guy? Like this guy was like the most interesting.
He was the only interesting character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, okay, you're telling a story essentially that I've seen played out in the games, right? Mm-hmm. Kyle Katarn, right? Former stormtrooper. Like, I get it. Like, we've had this done before. We had it in the EU, but okay, cards as dealt. Let's see what you do. And in the first film, Finn was the only really interesting damn character, and then the second film they just made him a joke. He's useless.
And then the third film happened.
I had a friend
allegedly.
I had a friend who signed me into the lot because after Last Jedi, I said I will never pay to see another one of these films. And then I had a really good friend who she signed me into the lot and was like, "Let's go suffer through Rise of Skywalker together, on the lot, and you won't have to pay for it." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Okay." She goes, "You'll be able to keep your promise." And I was like, "Okay." And then shortly after that, we both saw that and suffered through that. She ghosted me for no readily apparent reason, and like didn't come back for like 3 years. And so now when I tell the story, I just say we saw Rise of Skywalker, and we just walked off in separate directions, and it took 3 years before we had fully processed our feelings on the film and came back to talk to each other again.
That's something.
Now don't get me wrong, she's since ghosted me again because patterns are a thing, but it's still a good story.
Real quick shout out to our friend Mike Angerhauser, who just backed Stealing Solo. Mike, thank you very much. You have a wonderful book on your way. This book is an 80-page plus book featuring bonus content, a big story, and a whole lot more. And I'll spare you the bells and whistles talk. It is on the Kickstarter page right now. But folks, just remember, and I don't usually say it like this because I assumed everybody knows, but all of mine are graphic novels. So we don't do staples. We don't do floppies. We do a book that is worth the value. So you're going to get a lot of value, a lot of laughs, and a lot of content. So thank you, Mike. And folks, be on the lookout for that. Mike, I also walked out of The Last Jedi a little angry, not as confused. I met Kendo for the first time the weekend of that movie. He drove all the way from St. Louis to come watch it with me. First time we ever met. And a couple of my other friends went with us, and we went to the Hofbrau house, and there were people dressed as Luke Skywalker. And I had read all the leaks because I had made videos on the leaks. And we're sitting there, and my friend has one too many beers, and he starts going, "Luke dies!" And they all look over like, "What?" And then a few more beers later, he's like, "Luke dies!" And we're all laughing. So as we walk out of the Hofbrau house, we see every group of Star Wars people, and he just goes, "Luke dies, Luke dies, Luke dies, Luke dies, Luke dies." And we walk out of the Hofbrau house to then watch Luke Skywalker die on screen. And some of those people were in the same theater with us, and they gave us nasty looks.
I mean, effectively, he was bracing them.
Right? Yeah.
Mentally and emotionally bracing them.
But they probably were still like, okay, well, maybe Luke dies, but I bet he dies heroically and cool. No,
he dies from using the Force.
Yeah. He overdoses on the Force, and he just like sort of dies on a rock.
I mean, that's how I want to die. I want to think really hard and then just die. You know what's crazy, too? They made a mistake. Surprise, surprise. When Luke dies, his body disappears and his cloak remains, but his robotic hand becomes one with the Force.
Yes. Well, I mean, Rian Johnson is not a very good filmmaker.
End of discussion.
Well, Point blank. Period.
I mean, when you have a scene, a fight scene, and you have to go in and CGI out weapons so that the fight scene makes sense, the fight choreography makes sense. Weapons just have to disappear
That
out of
to
characters'
this
hands.
day, I gotta say this because this past October, so last month, we had San Antonio SpaceCon, and Star Wars Theory brought Nick Gillard, right?
Who?
Choreographer for the
Oh.
prequels. Now, however you feel about those movies from any other possible facet, Nick Gillard's choreography for those movies is golden, right? It's absolutely stunning. It's what made those movies. It's what like made me love lightsabers more than I already thought they were cool as a concept as, right? And so like you take a look at what he did with Star Wars in terms of, you know, the choreography and things like that. And then you look at what Disney did. It was just like the most, like, if it wasn't the most basic, bare bones, just looking like I'm swinging any medieval sword around, like I have zero idea of what the hell I'm doing, it looked like complete shit circus, mental retardation, like that throne room scene.
Yeah.
Where, just as you said, we're having to actually CGI out stuff because otherwise this fight doesn't work. And it's like, man, like, you couldn't send an email, you couldn't pick up a phone, like you had Nick Gillard.
Yeah.
Well, everybody
dude
does
still
that stupid
works.
down thrust move. Everybody would they would take their right hand and they would throw the lightsaber like down at the opponent's legs, and then they would sweep up. It was like a video game. You pressed over twice to slide, and then you hit attack, and you just did your move. It looked so dumb.
It was
with Nick
unbelievably
Gillard,
boring.
with Nick Gillard, he had the characters actually swinging at each other's bodies, and then the parry would be blocking the lightsaber from hitting the bodies. You watch that throne room scene, and it's like, I put my lightsaber up, and all the guards swing at the lightsaber. Not at my body, but at the lightsaber.
Well, it's not about attacking the body. You can't attack Daisy Ridley. Like that,
Oh, no.
that's a Rian Johnson rule. I mean,
She
we're
has
all
no body
talking-
to attack.
The Last Jedi is the only Star Wars film where there is not an actual lightsaber clash fight. Like two lightsabers do not strike and hit each other ever.
Oh yeah, because Luke is a force projection. That's technically not a lightsaber.
And on top of that,
he
his
never
lightsaber never
touches.
blocks anything from Kylo Ren because he dodges them all. And then the other part too is the throne room scene. It's two lightsabers against whatever the heck vibro blade crap that those red guards desperately trying to make a good-looking, desperately trying to make a good-looking fight choreography scene by attacking each actor one at a time and just hang, and then still in shot hanging by, waiting for their turn.
Well, let me ask you this. So, what we got in The Last Jedi, you know, and it's like, okay, you're subverting all the expectations. You're not building on anything from the previous film. You're tearing everything down. All other things being the same. If you have that final confrontation with Luke and Kylo, what if Luke is actually there? You do the scene, he walks out, Kylo yells fire. They do all of that firing. Everything is blowing up. You're like, holy shit, all these AT-ATs are firing on Luke. You know, he's dead. Then the smoke clears and Luke is standing there like this. And all those blaster bolts are held in the air the way Kylo held one single blaster bolt in that first film, showing you how Luke is a Jedi Grandmaster now. And then he opens his eyes and all those blaster bolts fly back and tear into the AT-ATs and screw up the Imperial's fleet. And that's why they then have to move to the ground assault.
Aaron, don't talk about cool things that we'll never get.
That's just one scene change. It doesn't make the film good, but it fixes the Luke problem.
Yeah. Well, The Last Jedi absolutely fixes the Luke problem. I would have fixed the Luke problem in the first one by making Max von Sydow a forced disguise of Luke Skywalker, not killing him at the start, but capturing him, bringing him to Starkiller Base, and he's just there just to get inside the base. And then he finds Rey, and he's like, "Hey, come! I've been helping you, not die out here on this foreign planet that you've never been to before, that you should not be able to navigate." Do the little trick that they did, as stupid as it was, in Starship Troopers, when Rico's like, I'm going to take this tunnel because this is where Carmen is. And you find out, it's Neil Patrick Harris's character used his mind powers to manipulate Johnny Rico to go left instead of right.
Mm-hmm. And but script, then you might actually get a scene where Luke, Leia, and Han are all together and fulfill the promise of it. Can't have that. No.
No. Well, I do recall hearing rumors when the Force Awakens was announced that each movie was essentially going to have one of the original cast as the mentor to one of the new characters in each individual film, with a reunion of them at the end, until they said, "Oh, Harrison Ford is going to be the first one." Oh, well, he's not coming back. Like it's just you're completely. Yeah, that was a Harrison thing, but I completely understand, because he rather play Indiana Jones over and over again than Han Solo. He hates playing Han Solo.
I mean,
But he
Indiana
still
Jones
comes
is a
back.
better character.
Yeah, but he still comes back in
Less.
Rise of Palpatine and does his. He doesn't cut his hair or shave. He just
No.
shows up and they're like, "Yeah, Harrison, can we make you look like you did?" I'm just gonna do the goddamn scene.
It's like, I'm here for Carrie, and that's it.
That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so
also,
glad we went down memory lane.
all the debate. Why are we talking about Star Wars? Like this wasn't the subject, but we're back on Star Wars again.
I guess it ties into the book since I parody it in the comics.
That's how we got here. The fact that like people are still like debating, they're like, oh, how could Han Solo be a Force ghost? And then people are like, he's not a Force ghost. It's Kylo Ren forgiving himself. And it's like, okay, that's stupid. That's stupid. Han doesn't need to be a Force ghost, because you've already got. If you watched, hey Ryan Johnson, have you seen Star Wars? Because if you watched The Empire Strikes Back, all you have to do is go with Yoda's line of, "Through the Force, things you will see. Friends who are long gone." Han doesn't have to be a Force ghost in order for Kylo to see him through the Force, because the Force can show him Han without Han having the ability to do it.
Well, I mean, that's also with J.J. Abrams, but he basically was trying to imply that Princess Leia, while she was in her coma underneath the white blanket, was Force projecting a version of Han to help communicate to Kylo and forgive him for what he did. And it's like, well, that's even more convoluted, JJ. Like,
And that's even dumber.
Yes, it is. Because again, J.J. Abrams and Ryan Johnson, they were hot ticket director items at the time. And J.J. was hot ticket because he knew how to spend a lot of money, make something flashy, and but not get the return, which is kind of usually the big thing you want to do. He was the producer turning director and trying to make a name for himself. Ryan Johnson was the independent filmmaker who made interesting films, but also didn't know how to mix audio.
He made one interesting film, and
Yeah,
it wasn't even that. It wasn't even like, it doesn't hold together all that well.
Well, I mean, that's Looper, and then if you watch Brick, the audio is so bad you have to watch it on subtitles because you didn't mix it properly.
Jeez.
Let's
but
give
that
this
is probably his
guy
best script,
millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. and
Oh
have him
no,
make a
with
Star
Brick,
Wars
that
film.
was like $1 million movie. Like, that was Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Isaac Hayes.
No, but you look at it and you go, well, it's like giving Chloe Zhao a Marvel movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That's Disney's modus operandi. They have had. So one of the reasons why I never considered Disney a proper studio is because every director that they would bring in for any of their stuff that wasn't under the veneer of Touchstone or Hollywood Pictures, they would always get into fights with the directors, because they would bring in directors that actually had merit, that did stuff, that weren't new in their career, that knew how to make money and knew how to get a job without Disney. And they soon discovered under Bob Iger's regime that, hey, if we just pluck these new directors coming out of the indie sphere, we can control them, because we're giving them a studio-funded film, and they're just going to say yes to everything that we want, and they're not going to push back and say, well, I'm a director that I've already made studio films before. I don't need to listen to you. And that's what they did. That's what they did with Colin Trevorrow. That's what we did with Chloe Zhao. That's what we did with who is the one that did the Marvels?
Nia DaCosta.
Nia DaCosta as well. Like, they all got them, especially with the Russo brothers. And the Russo brothers got lucky because they got experience in TV, which is why all their films look like they're shot for television and not for film. Like, we've seen going on social media recently, there's the Mask of Zorro fight scene between Antonio Banderas and Catherine Zeta-Jones in the stables.
That scene is
beautifully shot.
Amazing.
It's wide shots. There's choreography. You can see what's going on in the geography. You compare that to Captain America fighting the Winter Soldier on the highway. Every single punch is its own individual shot. And there's momentum to it, but you're not processing what's really going on. And it's tricking your brain to saying, oh, this is really cool. But it's like, no, they shot that fight scene over probably 2 days by just going one move at a time where it took like a week of rehearsals with Antonio Banderas and Catherine Zeta-Jones to do that so that they could do all that stuff in the one wide shot that's more than half a second in length.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene is way more impactful, has a lot more fun to it. And it's something that little kids would try to recreate as a sword fight because they could see it and they could find out how it works. You don't ever see kids trying to recreate Captain America versus the Winter Soldier on the off the highway because they can't.
No, because you can only see
process it.
this much.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I saw a kid give his friend a knee strike the other day into a car.
But that's just one move.
Yeah, but the other kid dropped his knife into his other hand and tried to stab him.
But did he
That's
grab a
California
garbage
for
can
you,
lid
man.
and then like beat him over the head senselessly with it?
Come to think of it, they might not have been friends.
How much of that shit do you think is the Bourne Identity? Because I think the Bourne Identity ruined more than it contributed.
Bourne
to
Identity and Christopher Nolan, because Christopher Nolan, when he was doing Batman Begins, he was on crunch time and he did not have the hours he needed to do the fight scenes that he wanted. And then on top of that, he hired a bunch of guys that are Kensi martial artists, which are basically like, hey, you know that vulnerable part of your elbow? What if we start hitting people with that? Like, that's Kensi. I know there's probably some people out there that think it's a good, legit one. It might have its stuff to it, but I know professional like fighters, MMA fighters that just scoff at the idea. They're like, yeah, we if we ever like do meet someone with a Kensi, we like to tease them for a couple of rounds and then just completely destroy them because they're already.
Oh, you mean
their
like
elbow.
doing this drop movement where like the soft part of your elbow is going to hit somebody in a hard spot? Yeah, that's
It's
pretty
not
much
even just
hard
the soft spot. It's also the hard part of the elbow because that's your joint. And if you crack that, you cannot move your arm ever again. So you don't want to put any force on it.
Yeah, I hate the way Batman moves in that. They put it in Bond. Everything was close up, a million shots, shaky camera. Star Trek 09 has it. Everybody had that shit.
I mean, I understand why they did it for Liam Neeson. He's old. But like, why are they doing it for like Chris Evans?
Just put a guy in a Liam Neeson wig and have him jump a fence from a distance. Like, I don't need a 17-shot fence jumping.
Well, it's hard to find a stunt guy that's 6'6" because Liam Neeson is really tall. And a lot of stunt guys are about like, between 5'8" and 5'11".
Yeah, they're not my height. That'd be weird if I was an actor. I'd need a giant stunt man.
I think Jeff should be Liam Neeson's stunt double.
I'm down.
Because, I mean, you'd be distinct enough, but it'd also be really fun.
Yeah, it'd be like in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, where they keep cutting to the Italian guy in the afro wig. Dude's got a big, like, Serpico mustache.
Sign me up.
It's supposed to be this black lady.
I don't really like Family Guy, but there's a great bit in one of the episodes where Stewie jumps out of the window and it becomes a grown man with a bald cap and a mustache. And it gets me every time. But the chat says Bourne Trilogy is amazing. The problem is everything that tried to replicate its action and fails miserably. Fair point. Can't really.
I enjoy the
comics.
movies. Yeah, I enjoy the movies, at least watching them with my dad, as I do with so many movies. But like the fight choreography really did hurt action movies for a while there in terms of like actual good choreography and shots. Like there's some cool things done in those films, especially the first one. But like the quick cut thing that it like permeated all the way through the genre, that's annoying. Like I want to actually see everything followed through on.
Well, it's because they're easier to choreograph, easier to rehearse, and quicker to shoot. Like it's really just a money-saving endeavor. I mean, like one of the things before the pandemic really hit, I'd always be invited onto a couple of sets, and then one of the things I like to do is I like to mess with the choreographer, because I love pointing out the fact that they're just doing their paint by numbers. So choreographers, especially in fight teams, when they have their own fight team, they have a shorthand of just numbered moves. So they'll say, okay, you're going to go over there, you're going to do a 3-7-1, and then this guy's going to do a 6-6-5, and then it all kind of blends together, but it's really like static and it doesn't have any life to it. And I remember this one day I was working on an indie project and they sent me the previs for the fight choreography in the gym. And you were literally it's just one person at a time going after them. And I said, what would happen if all three of these bad guys went after the main hero at the same time? And they're like, oh, we can't choreograph that. It's like, why not? We just don't have the time. And also we don't know it would be believable for the one guy to be able to beat all three of them at the same time. It's like, that's the point. Like make things difficult for your protagonist. Like get creative there.
And then you watch something like you watch something like Boy Kills World, which has insane choreography.
Yeah.
And just like some of the most visceral, like brutal action I've ever seen in a film. And you're like, oh, there are still people that can do interesting things.
Or wushu films, or like anything coming out of Asia, right? Any Japanese or Chinese films, like, man, they put all of their budget into the choreography, really.
Well,
So
I mean,
script
yeah.
is that method of doing choreography where James Gunn got his brilliant idea for Superman, where Lex Luthor would just be screaming numbers at guys who would then type it into a computer, and then his guy would do the move,
Well-
even though Superman has been established to be incredibly fast, but somehow is not faster than a guy yelling computer commands to a guy who has to
486.
type it.
Well, the funny part is that I have one group of friends that think that is James Gunn making the joke inside the industry about fight choreography.
Mhm.
And others are just like, well, he wanted to, like, they do this trumped up thing where it's like, oh yeah, they just wanted to show how brilliant Lex Luthor is for fighting. It's just that, well, it would be more interesting if we actually saw him fighting Ultraman at super speed, where the rest of the world is kind of slowed down around here, because that's cool, because therefore you realize, oh yeah, it does. Luthor says, okay, do this combination, like, because again, he's trying to draw from the All-Star Superman scene where Lex Luthor is remotely controlling, I guess, some sort of probe towards the sun, and he's got 5 to 8 minutes of distance, and he has to predict all the movements so he can beat up the guys in the probe, and then also fight off Superman. And I'm like, oh, I get what you're doing there, but you got to, if you want to do that domestically, like, within without that delay, you have to tell your Ultraman a series of combinations to do based on one telegraph that he's able to recognize Superman when he's coming into the fight. And he's got to be able to process that at the speed of what Superman's fastest speed. And I can see from one perspective is like, okay, well, how's the audience really going to register that? Or how's the best way I can effectively do that for the audience to register? Or do I just keep it simple and just make it real time and Superman doesn't fight at super speed and we just never explain why? And it's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, which is, in the theater, for most people, it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's another one of those things where it's like, once you get out of the theater and you start thinking about it, it doesn't work.
It does raise more questions. I mean, as much as I enjoyed a lot of aspects of Superman, it was over edited to lose a lot of the substance that it was there. Like, even one of my buddies that saw like one of the first cuts, he stood by. He's like, the first cut was much more better edited there. You could actually probably put in a score, because all it was just keynotes, like musical cues throughout that movie. There's no proper dramatic score. It's like, it's a Superman film. And then the other part, it's also, I think, the first, I think it is the first Superman film, with the exception of Batman v Superman, where Clark doesn't do a transformation into Superman. He doesn't pull open his shirt, drop his glasses, and then appears as the Man of Steel.
Well, that's kind of the danger with the route that you go with the MCU line type suit and everything. And overall, I actually liked how the suit looked. But the first time I saw the suit, I said to myself, they're not going to be able to put that underneath his Daily Planet typical casual wear, and it be remotely believable. That it doesn't work. Christopher Reeve, yeah, he could do that all day, right? Because it was like skin tight spandex, right? But not. It's too bulky.
It's Amigo
parts
costume
that like
brought to human size.
Well, it's not all too dissimilar, honestly, to like the Guardians of the Galaxy outfits that they had in the third movie.
Yeah,
the third one that were like similar to like the classic ones, right? With the blue with the red lining and all that. Like,
yep.
You're not going to be able to put anything over that. And so, while it might look cool or good, depending on your take on it, it still isn't going to allow you to do a lot of that classic imagery, like you just said, like Clark running out of. I mean, phone booths aren't a thing anymore. We're not going to do that. But like him running out, maybe he's running off the. He's on the roof of the Daily Planet, right? And pulling open the shirt, right? That's iconic.
It is.
You have to be able to put that in there somehow.
I mean, they even did it for Man of Steel with Henry Cavill, but it was also a little bit trickier because, again, his suit looked like a plastic mold put over his body. Like it did.
And even though I absolutely abhor that movie, because it's not Superman, they were still at least able to pull that off a little bit better than, well, just not being able to do it at all. I
think everybody should be talking. I'm sorry.
Well, I like Gunn Superman way more than Man of Steel. It's a super low bar, but like I like it way more as both a movie and as a Superman movie. However, credit where it's due, at least his suit in Man of Steel was something you could do that with feasibly. Yes, to your credit and in your point, Script, like it did look very plasticky. And part of that
it also
I think
lacked the trunks.
Yeah. I can take her leak the trunks. But
I just don't want my superheroes wearing a onesie. That's it. I just like break it up.
I want those trunks. The colors need to be broken up.
I agree.
I from the artistic perspective, I absolutely agree that you can find ways to break up the colors. Otherwise, yes, it's just a blue onesie, right? There are ways to do that. The trunks are absolutely the classic way to go, and I'm okay with that. But that's far from my main issue with that movie.
Listen, considering some of the things that we went through in entertainment, we're lucky that they didn't put the little Kara Zor-El skirt on Superman. So,
yeah.
You know what I want though? I want a Superman where like everybody keeps talking about how Clark, Clark's like the ladies are like, Clark's an attractive guy, but man, does he have a dumpy ass? And it's because he has to tuck the cape into the pants, so his ass just looks really bad. Yeah.
Not to go away too far from the dumpy asses, but what did you guys think of Vin Diesel as the Brainiac rumor or news or whatever it was?
What?
Are they for sure going with Brainiac? Because I
got tagged in a post that I thought was from like some article, like some legit place. I was like, really, Vin Diesel is? This looks horrible.
I'm sorry.
A distinctive voice.
Yeah,
he does, but I don't know how seriously I can take him as a character like Brainiac. Like I like him as Dominic Toretto just fine.
I like him as Riddick.
He was good. Yeah,
I enjoy Riddick. Mm-hmm. But like a character like Brainiac, that would be a hard sell for me. I'm not saying he's completely incapable of it. Actors can evolve.
Well, let's see.
I want a coldness from Brainiac that I don't know if
not just monotoneness.
Yeah, not monotone, but just an actual like coldness. Like for example, I think that the guy that played High Evolutionary in Guardians 3, that's kind of a Brainiac. Like he had his moments where he would like go off, but mostly he was just kind of like cold and emotionless and very like clinical and practical.
Because, let's be real here, Aaron. Like High Evolutionary is kind of like a Marvel Brainiac type character in a lot of respects. He just the big differentiating factor being he is far more emotional at times.
Well, he's creating a world as opposed to Brainiac, who's the collector of worlds. And remember, like there's the normal Brainiac where he's Kaluan and he's a cyborg of sorts, and then there's the Superman the animated series where he's a product of Kryptonian technology.
Mm-hmm.
That's a newer take, and I enjoy that one, but I kind of want to see the Green Alien.
Well, there are a bazillion different takes on Brainiac, right? Because then you could go into Legion of Superheroes and and so forth, and you got different iterations of.
Brainiac. You're talking like Brainiac and then his offspring, like fighting Brainiac,
if we're just talking about like Superman's villain Brainiac, then absolutely.
See, I heard rumblings that it was going to be Mongol and a War World story for Man of Tomorrow. But if they're going with Brainiac, it's like, okay, cool. It's got to save Metropolis from being bottled up.
Yeah, I would, like I said, that was just something I was tagged on Twitter, and I was like, why aren't people talking about this? I guess it's just one of these places trying to act like a rumor is the gospel, but
rumor, sources, we said so.
Yeah, your Mike Zero type thing where his source is a Reddit post that he himself put up.
That Cosmic Book Moose writes an article
about one of my favorite things. Yeah. Fans are saying, right? Like, okay, what, 2 people, both of which are your bot accounts? Okay. All right.
Have you ever seen the Ryan George thing where he's doing the internet news and he's like, McDonald's says they're not bringing the McPizza back and people are pissed. And it's like, there's 2 posts. Like one person's like, oh yeah, I remember the McPizza. And then the other person is like, no more McPizza, boo. Those are like the two posts.
But isn't that genuinely a thing that we see happen though?
Yeah,
We
it's like if
see
you
that
could just
happen
read the
all
head,
the
if you could just read the headline and retweet it and react to it, that'd be really good.
Oh yeah,
Oh, nobody would
actually,
do that.
Zack Snyder's doing that right now on his Instagram. He's trying to make people think that his universe is going to come back if Warner Brothers gets bought. And I'm like, no, it's not.
The
Sorry,
Saudis,
bro.
man. The
No.
Saudis are gonna bring it back.
God,
The Saudis are Snyder fans.
Yeah.
well,
Oh,
I mean, where were they at the box office, man? Come on.
I was gonna
Oh,
say they
script.
didn't show up to that. They're the ones with all the money. They didn't show up.
Guys, they bought their own copies of the film for like 30 grand each, and that's it. So there's just one for the country. They all went over to
That's
the
what I
cheap
need,
stuff.
man. That's what I need. Sylvania and I just need some Saudi with a bunch of money, some Saudi oil prince who really loved our Darkwing Duck run to just be like, I will just pay you guys to create new Darkwing Duck for me and me alone.
All right, so all of our Saudi-based, oil tycoon or Saudi prince viewers in the
Listen,
chat,
the only
you
people who
heard
have-
Aaron right now. He's looking for a Saudi sugar daddy.
I'll
That's
say
right.
this, the odds of anyone in Saudi Arabia who has internet is probably also going to be an oil baron out there. So you're pretty good.
Yeah. My chances are good.
All right.
Well, Saudis, if you like Star Wars or liked Star Wars and you want to make fun of it, I'm your guy. And if you want to go on an Ollie's trip, bring your jet. We'll go to every Ollie's in an afternoon. I'll even narrate it for you live as we
Oh
Let's do
man,
it.
that'd be fantastic.
Let's do it.
I would love it if some really rich person was like, "Hey, man, I want to sponsor you to go to every Ollie's. I want to go with you." Sure thing, dude.
No, if I won the
Name-
lottery, I'd do
Name the
that.
time and place.
I'd be like, all right, but I would do it like we'd do it documentary style. We'd get like the big RV, like the big
Big
tour
camper.
bus.
Yeah.
Just go Ollie's to Ollie's. We're gonna hit every Ollie's.
You got
Promise
that little
me-
image of it on the highway map of the USA, just going across like Indiana Jones.
And
Yeah,
what
and
you'd
then,
have
and then
to
on the
do-
side of the side, just have the big WCBS with Jeff's face, and
whatever like Ollie's is like in some like tucked away spot that looks like, oh man, this one might be like a real one, this might be a dump, or like find like just crazy, like how are these toys even still here type of a scenario. Then you change up how you're filming the documentary. You make it kind of like a found footage horror film, right?
Or you just hire
So
security.
it's like Quarantine or like something like that, right?
yeah, we could call the bus the Jeff Express.
There you
Yeah.
go. Just don't compare me to Lex Luger, and we will be good.
No, you got to wear the pants, man. You got to wear those
Those
like, blue
Zubas?
workout pants. Yeah.
They're really comfortable, I hear. So yeah, sure.
That'd be
Only
great.
thing I say is I'm down for all this, but we have to play Holiday Road from National Lampoon's Vacation as we're
course.
driving on the highway.
Mhm.
That's my vacation music every
Fair
time
enough.
I go on a vacation. Andrew, you've seen National Lampoon's Vacation, right?
I have.
Okay. Ooh,
Only
I was about-
once, but I have.
Hey, it counts, man. As long as you know who Clark W. Grizzle is, we're good. I said that to somebody. They're like, "His name's Griswold. How did you not know that?" I'm like, "You didn't watch the movie, did you?"
You're not remembering the reference.
Yeah. I always pull for the most random thing, one line in a movie, because I watch movies way too many times and
Mhm.
run them into the ground, but still find enjoyment of them or from them.
That's how you know you still love it.
That's true. That's why I can still watch Fletch and every other movie that I watch on repeat. I watched
I've
A View to a
given-
Kill today again.
Speaking
that
of
great.
Fletch, no, but it's Max Zorin and it's got a great theme song.
I like it.
By the way, Jeff, I have given my name before as Elmer Fudd Gantry.
That's amazing. Though I do picture you a little more as a Foghorn Leghorn guy.
Oh no, see, I've done Dr. Clayton Forrester a lot of times,
Okay.
and one time I did call myself TV's Frank.
I
I'm gonna
respect it.
start giving fake names when I go to places.
Have anyone here else seen Confess Fletch? Am I the only one that's seen that one? Sam with John Hamm as Fletch.
I meant to watch it and I just
no, I
never
haven't
got
seen it.
around to it.
It's
Yeah, I haven't
actually
seen it.
not bad at all. It's a different tone, but still Fletch.
Hmm.
Yeah, John Hamm does a pretty good job.
I
this
wish
is actually making me think of a fun time back in like, so this is wow, this is just after high school, Andrew. So when I was working for Game Crazy, so they were owned by Hollywood Video Movie Gallery. They're no longer.
Oh, I
they're
remember.
gone.
Oh, man.
You
when Hollywood
remember?
Video went
You
bankrupt.
remember? Me and my buddy, when we would go to get our separate coffee orders. We wouldn't go together; it'd be too sus. But if we'd go to get our coffee orders at the Starbucks that was in our same lot, we would each time like use a different like celebrity name, but like a slight tweak on it. So like one time I said, I told the barista behind the counter, like my name was Thomas Cruise, right? And because I didn't say Tom Cruise,
hmm
they don't think twice about it in that moment. But then when they call out the name, you see the heads turn.
hmm
They're sitting at the table like, what?
Here at our local Starbucks.
Right? We had a fun time messing with people that way. We would also we were also assholes. We would, if we were at the local In-N-Out, we would sometimes like be in just the right spot and like call out numbers.
No, you dick. I would have been so pissed off had you been to my local In-N-Out and be like, number 42. And I go up there and I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Number 23, please. Right? And somebody goes up there and they're like, I'm number 23. And the person behind the counter is like, your number's not ready yet, man. Like, oh, well, what the fuck? It was fun. We were jerks.
It's such an
it was
innocent
college
thing, though.
Yeah, but it was funny. We had a good time at other people's expense.
I would troll people. Well, I once pranked somebody and made them think they were on the show Cheaters. That was my.
Oh, shoot. Did you really?
Dude, have I never told this story on the channel ever?
No.
I've never heard this.
Not any episode that I've watched.
So when I was in high school, I worked at Rallies, and I knew how to use the computer in the back. I was the only person that knew how to use the computer in the back besides the manager. And so you could just, it didn't have the internet, but you could like look at everybody's records and this and that. I wasn't trying to read anybody's shit, but there was one guy I would always joke with at work. So I got his phone number, his like cell phone number, and I called him. Or what I do is I would call him and leave voicemails, but then I would call the store when I wasn't working and say I was a producer looking for this guy. And like everybody in the store believed he was on the show Cheaters, including himself, to the point where they thought one of the local regular customers that would drive through in a van, they thought that was Cheaters spying on them. The guy got nervous and quit his job because I basically said, and here's the thing, I used what he told me against him. So he would come into work and be like, yeah, man, we went to the strip club. We were hanging out with this girl and that girl and blah, blah, blah. And when I would call and act like Cheaters, I'm like, were you at one Deja Vu strip club on this date doing this and that? And he like freaked out. And he's like, oh my God, they're filming me. The dude was too stupid to realize I'm literally regurgitating this shit. I'm waiting to get caught. I'm waiting to get caught. I never got caught. That was 20 years ago.
He's still looking over his shoulder.
Cheaters is what?
He gave this man a complex for the rest of his damn life. He looks over his shoulder every day.
Any white van he sees driving by, that's got to be the Cheaters band. They're still out.
Cheaters
It's
is
got to be the
amazing.
biggest
It's
episode ever because they've been following me for 2 decades.
That's right. It's like it's like The Office, where that documentary crew was there for like 8 years. This guy's still being followed by a defunct show, and they're like, "No, we're coming back with this."
Yeah,
That
Jerry
is
Greco came
remarkable.
back.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that was
remarkable.
I've done a lot of pranks, but that's one I'm very proud of.
You should be
won't
proud of that one. That one's funny. That's
Yeah,
freaking
good.
funny.
That's good stuff.
Let's get this piece of crap off the screen. Nobody wants to look at Ray's derpy
Yeah.
face, but it is kind of funny. It looks like she's pooping.
Unfortunately, those lasers aren't going through her. So
The
I
one laser she
understand.
gets on her shoulder.
I understand the Ray movie is going to start shooting any day now.
Oh,
Yeah. And I want a toilet made of solid gold. No, I saw an article today that said Ray is going to be in 4 more movies. Like she's going to be the connective tissue.
No. The article was that she signed on for 4 movies that aren't Star Wars. So
okay.
So it's like she's not even going to have the schedule to start that anytime soon. And I'm like, I got news for you. That thing's not starting anytime soon. So no worries.
No, the closest she'll
Yikes.
ever have is a cameo in Starfighter.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah.
that's more than I need. That's for
Like,
sure.
it's not the actress's fault.
No,
No,
it's not Daisy Ridley's
That
fault. To her
character
credit,
Never
anytime
needs
I've
to come
seen
back.
anytime I've seen her in an interview, she seems perfectly amicable. Nothing bad to say about her.
She's delightful. She's an
Her
English
character
rose.
is just non-existent.
Yeah, they just gave her nothing to work with.
Yeah. She was asking
No
questions
no
from the
disrespect
very,
to her.
during the Force Awakens, she was asking questions about who her character was while they were shooting, and JJ's like, "Don't worry about it right now. It's not important. We'll figure it out later." I'm like, what? Figured it out? Like, yeah. It's, oh no, you're this, you're that, and done the biggest. And this is an American thing only. Because I've been around the world, I don't know why it is, but. And you guys are are too smart to fall for this, but for some strange reason, you think that an accent is hereditary by blood and not by your culture. So you hear a child
it's nurture, not
like,
nature.
"Oh, your grandparent, your father must be English." It's like, well, did they grow up here and they just have an English accent? Because that's not how it works.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Rey's presented with an English accent. People are like, "Oh, she's Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter." Why?
Mm-hmm.
English accents aren't genetic.
Well, script, it's like every black person in Star Wars is related. Because remember, they wanted to make that girl Lando's daughter. It's like, oh, okay, I see what we're doing here. Fine.
Yeah, and Lando is the
son.
Lando is the son of Captain Panaka. Remember the guy with the really bad attitude in Phantom Menace was just negative about everything.
Well, remember that guy's only half black, so it'd be like if I fathered a child that looked like Billy D. Williams. That woman would have to be like very midnight colored, but whatever.
Billy D. Williams is 50% Colt 45.
And that's why he's still alive to this day.
I respect that.
About maybe 10 plus years ago, he came back to Colt 45, and there was like a promotion with a phone number, and you could call. And it was like if you were the whatever caller, you'd win, but it was a recording of his voice. And I would call that number whenever I was in the grocery store just to listen to it.
I thought you were going to tell me that you could call and you would actually talk to Billy D. Williams. He was answering each call.
That would be the coolest thing ever. I remember his he did a couple of convention circuits where he was just talking about how he was super disappointed he didn't get to come back to play Two-Face.
I was disappointed he didn't get to come back to play.
Me too. He was like so jazzed for it. That was the whole reason. I mean, the second reason he signed on. The first reason is that he loved Batman. The second reason is like I get to play the guy that gets half his face burned off. I love that. I can't wait to do that.
And at least he was handsome.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's the point is that Two-Face, the reason it's a dichotomy is because you've got a handsome side and an ugly side. With Billy D. Williams or Tommy Lee Jones, if they wouldn't have covered him in purple, I wouldn't have known which side was the scarred side.
Yes, because no, he's not wrong. Because Tommy Lee Jones has always looked like a 60-year-old man. Go watch the pilot to Charlie's Angels. He is in that, and he still looks like he's 60, and he's like 32 there.
He's just got bad skin. It's like Robert Davi. He's got bad skin. That's fine. Nothing to be done of it. You know, like no big deal.
Confirm.
The man's a fantastic actor.
He's great. He's great.
Are we talking Robert Davi or Tommy Lee Jones?
Either one.
They're very good.
They are.
I love Tommy Lee
of a good
Jones.
singer, though. I don't know if Tommy Lee Jones can sing, but Robert Davi can.
Throw Dennis Farina in there too. Bad skin, great actor.
Edward James Olmos.
Yeah, I was just about to say Edward James Olmos. Yeah, he's got the pocket crater face.
He was on Miami Vice, and that's the best show of the 80s. So I know you haven't watched it, Andrew, but one day you will.
I have not.
Honestly, just watch the first. I would just recommend to anybody that's like, I wonder what Miami Vice is like. Watch the first episode. It's 90 minutes long. It's kind of like a movie, and you pretty much get everything you're going to want to get, including that Phil Collins scene that everybody goes on about. That's Jeff's pick of the week, the Miami Vice pilot. It's somewhere.
Phil Collins scene. What do you mean by Phil Collins scene?
And then watch Nash Bridges and realize that James Crockett is in witness protection.
No, we skirted over something. Jeff, what do you mean by Phil Collins scene?
So Miami Vice's most famous moment, and they use it twice in the first episode, and I think they do it again in the end. It's Crockett and Tubbs are getting ready to go on they're going to like a drop or something for drugs. And it's like super dangerous. Like they're pretty much like ready to die. And so it starts playing Phil Collins' song in the air tonight. And like Crockett calls his wife, and it's got all these like really cool shots of like the car going. They like lock the camera on the car. It's just like a music video in the middle of Miami Vice. And it's considered the most impactful scene. And they go back and they reuse it at the very end. It's awesome.
Conversely,
I do like Phil Collins.
Conversely, if you want to know what it's like to watch Miami Vice, just play Glenn Frey's Smuggler's Blues on loop.
Yep,
for about 6 times, and you'll have the whole experience.
That's a good episode too.
Well, there's always like around that time, there was always like a music video in your episode. I remember watching Hunter, and there's a full on like burning down the house by the Talking Heads, and it's just the artist just like setting fire to things while they play the whole song, and and Hunter going like, what am I gonna do about this? It's like they used to do that all the time.
I always think of the Big Lebowski because they, with the exception of the last few seconds, what condition my condition's in. And that's just a neat video. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of hunters that aren't around.
Oh, now Andrew, that was your best transition. So folks, we love to joke about how the internet gets up into a tizzy when they have fan casting and they don't get their way. But some people like to make fan casting a political statement. And when they don't cast something that lines up with their ideology, they try to turn it into a whole like anger, hate, whatever campaign. And today I was on Twitter when it was not down, because that Twitter being down was really annoying. And
it was down to like 11 a.m. or something like that.
I know. I was on Literature Devil's show. We were supposed to be on there at 8:45, but couldn't connect because of Twitter. I was getting ready to text you, like, hey man, if we're not able to contact each other through Twitter tonight, I want you to drop the link to everybody, because I thought you had like emails or something of everybody. But thankfully, it came back.
Yeah, there was a big Cloudflare issue.
Yeah, Cloudflare was down. It affected all kinds of places. I use Opus Clip, and I couldn't upload any shorts today. So
it affected our website, the Rippaverse.
Oh,
I thought there was a cyber attack, to be perfectly honest. I was like, oh, this is what this is like. Our technology goes down. This is okay.
I'm waiting for Skynet now.
I see, really Jeff, if I had your
Twitter's on Cloudflare, because
it was the same day that Elon drops whatever new version of Grok or whatever. So it's like, Grok just became Skynet. It's self-aware.
Jeff, if I had Jeff's phone number, I was just going to text him. A communications disruption can only mean one thing.
Well, I'll text you. I'll just put my number in the group chat, and that way we can all contact each other.
Yeah,
there we go.
I'm actually terribly worried that if you ever feel like your internet is getting throttled, it's probably because AI is starting to spread and it's just taking up all the resources.
I have thought that I hadn't thought about the AI spreading, causing the throttling, but I had felt like across the board, the internet and just technology as a whole has been kind of shit in the bed. Not to the point where I'm going to like drop, I'm not using the internet anymore. That's stupid. That, my work is on here. But I have just been so frustrated with it lately. So, Script, you might have a theory.
Well, I mean, that was one of the reasons why I was late today, is like everything on the internet was just not connecting. Like it wouldn't connect my mic, wouldn't connect my digital camera, wouldn't even load StreamYards. I had to do I tried rebooting it, nothing. I just kept on clicking until it finally came through. And it's like, you don't get that where I am in Canada, because everybody's on like really high speed fiber optic and heavy servers and everything. And usually like don't have many internet issues unless there's a massive power outage. And it was just nuts.
It was crazy, and I did read a lot of conspiracy stuff on Twitter, but I also read a post that made me roll my eyes, because the post read, and I quote, Hunter Schafer would have been a better Zelda. Now, I know the story about this, but I then read the comments underneath it, and everyone's like, this movie's dead on arrival, Nintendo's this, all this other crap.
Nobody cares about your little Hunter Schafer thing. By the way, keep showing that one picture of Hunter Schafer from that one angle where Hunter Schafer sort of kind of looks like Zelda, and not every other single picture of Hunter Schafer where Hunter Schafer looks like a man.
No, I reject that entirely, actually. And I do see what you're saying, because I know exactly what photo that they keep pulling up. It's literally the exact same photo in every single post. It's the only one that they're aware of, because they don't actually know who Hunter Schafer is. Somebody told them, oh, this person's trans, and therefore this is the photo we're gonna promulgate. Hunter Schafer does not look like Zelda. Hunter Schafer looks like Ezra Miller in drag, which is impressive, because Ezra Miller already probably dresses in drag.
No, that's true.
Doesn't look like Zelda at all.
Ezra Miller is the weirdest look, is the most Asian looking Jewish man I've ever met.
Yeah.
Wait, was your wallet and passport still there after you met him?
Yes. I was beyond arm's reach, because I did not want to get that close.
I don't blame you.
You don't want to be in Storsel. You want to be ensorcelled by the Mad Goose Wizard.
That's right.
What do you think it's going to take for what's his face, Ezra Miller, to make a comeback, or is it just never going to happen?
It's
I don't think it's going to happen. I think
he would have to be forgotten.
His comeback would essentially be working in very small, low budget independent films because his name can still get lines of credit at banks for production.
Which is odd, but
you have to be starting a cult. It's like, listen, we want to start a little cult. I think there's some very good names involved in this. Ezra Miller, Allison Mack.
I was about to say,
did you see she was on what's his face's podcast today?
Yeah,
Mark
and I see people
Rosenbaum's.
are like super mad about it, and I'm like, I don't necessarily understand why people are mad.
Yeah, I know. She was a goon essentially, like a henchman for someone else, and then didn't realize it until it was too late.
Yeah, I mean, shouldn't we have conversations about that thing, about those things? Isn't it interesting to get into, like how somebody gets pulled into this, how somebody gets convinced to do this?
No,
I think
Aaron,
that
you just need to be like, hey, you're bad, and we don't want to hear your point of view, and that's it. That's
I mean, you can still
thinks.
be like, hey, you did some really terrible things, but like, there's things to be learned from, from this.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the thing is it's one of the rare instances where you're able to actually see someone who got manipulated to do horrible things, and then become far more aware as to how horrible they actually were, face the punishment for that, I guess question who they were, their own identity, and then work their way to rehabilitation. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, she married a guy that was very pro, not Jew. But I think he later learned that he was biologically Jewish.
Oh, so you're saying he was anti-Semitic and then found out he was Jewish?
he was the biggest of the anti-Semitics in, I can't remember where, somewhere in the United States. Like so big that he probably could have grown that famous square mustache that nobody's allowed to wear anymore these days.
And then Jonah Jameson's not that bad of a guy.
And then he turned over a new leaf, and then I remember hearing a story, I think it was like earlier this year, that Allison Mack's husband, who used to be this, found out that he was Jewish.
I don't see that's interesting to me, because I don't understand how you develop such a level of hate where you're like, I hate this entire group of people based on, I assume, their behavior. Although if you're just saying like, I hate them because of their genetics, that's kind of weird. And then you find out that you share those genetics, and all of a sudden you're like, well, I guess I was wrong about everything. Because it seems like if you hate them for their, if you hate them for their behavior, or at least what your perception of their behavior is, and then you find out that you are, that you share the genetics. Yeah, you share the genetics of that group. That shouldn't change how you feel about the behavior that you hated. Or your perception of it. It's just all very interesting. I think.
Well, for my understanding is that he changed his behavior first, and then found out later that he was Jewish.
Oh, okay. Then I guess that makes sense. So he had a realization beforehand, and then was like, "Boy,
maybe I shouldn't be a anti-Semitic piece of crap."
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be a piece of shit. Maybe being a piece of shit is not the way to go.
Yeah, and then like a year or two down the line, finds out that he happens to actually be, Jewish biologically, and it's like, oh well, good thing I turned over that leaf.
A lot of immigrants at the turn of the 20th century that were Jewish, that came to the United States, abandoned their religion to avoid anti-Semitism that was growing in from where they came from. They didn't want to actually accidentally bring it over here, and that's that happens.
I mean, when you come to the United States, I kind of agree with the Garth Ennis approach, where he says, like, culture, history, what is that? Something that, you have to think is important because your parents told you it was important. Like, it's basically like his commentary on Superman. It's Hitman kind of like breaking down what he thinks about Superman. And he's telling him he's the ultimate immigrant. And he says, because, you came here and you're like, yeah, I'm from Krypton or whatever, but all that's in the past. I'm an American now. What can I do to help? And so I think that, there is something to coming to America, and not necessarily abandoning your culture, abandoning your heritage, but saying like, things are different now. All the old hatreds and all the old prejudices and all the old stuff that, was so prevalent in, where I came from, I'm going to leave that behind and just bring the good stuff to the melting pot, and then melt, as opposed to try to just set up my own little fiefdom of the thing that I left.
Oh yeah, like, it's all about bringing the best part in there, like your stories, your music, your culture, your food. the values that you share with the country you're going to, and then the values that the country doesn't abide by because they're not values are to be abandoned. And
Yeah, and then you can't claim a cultural appropriation because you came and you melted and it's now all part of the whole. And
You brought it here.
That's right. You brought it here, and now we all get to share in it. And if I want to celebrate Hanukkah, I can celebrate Hanukkah. And if I want to, like I want to do this other thing, or I want to, bring these, I want to celebrate Day of the Dead or whatever it is, whatever culture.
By the way,
like
Passover is more fun
part
than
of the
Hanukkah.
Yeah,
There's more drinking.
there's a lot more drinking. Yeah. The other,
I also enjoy
Maurice
Lamb.
LaMarche, famous Canadian voice actor Maurice LaMarche made several posts like on X and Twitter and other things over the years saying like, you left there because there wasn't good, and you came here because here was good. So contribute to make here still good, and forget what made and abandon what made there bad. Like and he's basically just saying like, if you're an immigrant, that's your start over moment. Like just cast off all the stuff that made you want to leave, and the stuff that you miss home that is of value and that you think other people would really love and appreciate and want to share, bring it in here. And they will decide if it's good. You don't get many people, especially like, I guess Maurice LaMarche kind of mid-tier because people know his voice, but they don't know his name. Like he did The Brain for Pinky and the Brain, and does some like the best Columbo impressions I've ever heard.
I had a weird moment with him at Emerald City Comic Con because we'd run into each other and we'd talked multiple times at other shows. And I guess just in that moment, we're both standing waiting for an elevator and we're looking at each other and we recognize each other, but we don't know from where. And so we just kind of like suspiciously kept looking at each other, like, and just like if we made eye contact, it's kind of like, hey,
Oh yeah, I've had that with one of the Smallville actors who later played Flash Gordon. Gosh, what the heck is his name? Eric Johnson. Yeah, Eric Johnson. I keep running into Eric Johnson, and we always have that moment where like, I know you, and we don't know where because I never worked with him on Smallville. I never worked with him on Flash Gordon, but I have friends that work with him on Flash Gordon, and I always would bump into him between productions. And we'd be like, oh, hi. And then that would be it. But it's almost like that scene in Hot Shots Part 2 where Martin Sheen and Charlie Sheen are crossing past each other and be like, I love you in Wall Street.
Yeah.
Like just that type of moment where it's like, I know you, but we haven't been formally introduced and we cross paths, which is weird. And then conversely, like I've got a similar situation with Alan Richardson where we've been introduced once. And then we'd always like cross paths. And even when I was working on Reacher, I was working on days where he wasn't shooting. And then I'd be on there on a day where he was shooting and be like, hey, are you working today? I'm like, I'm consulting. It's like, are my scene? No. Like, he's like, good. and that's it. And it's just, I'm always intimidated by him because every time I see him, I'm like, yeah, I got to go back to the gym. Just
the dude's built like a brick house.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
He should play Big Dumb Batman.
I wanted to play Booster Gold because I think he'd have the most fun with it because I've seen him in that Valley Blue State comedy show, and he's really good. And plus, he also was on a couple episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine as like the young Hitchcock. he knows how to do comedy really well. And it's like,
I'd want him to play Arthur Curry actually.
Well, he has.
I
know he has. That's part of the reason why.
Yeah.
You know who would have been a great Booster Gold if they would have got him at the right age? Would have been Nathan Fillion.
I was just going to say that.
Yep.
Young Nathan Fillion would have been the perfect Hal Jordan.
He would have been so many perfect things.
It's funny that you could be the perfect Hal Jordan and a great Guy Gardner.
Oh, I understood why everybody was like, no, he should be Hal Jordan. But it's like, I can't think of someone who could be a better Guy Gardner than Nathan Fillion.
While still somehow being likable, even though you're the least likable Green Lantern ever. Yeah.
Yep.
No,
you think he's less likable than Gnort?
He's less likable than everyone. Okay. I hate Guy Gardner. I cannot stand him.
It's the haircut. Just say it.
It's not just that he hasn't
had that haircut. He hasn't had that haircut in a long time.
Yeah, his design is actually, once you get rid of the stupid bowl cut, his design is great. Like I love the jacket, it's super unique. And there are cool things about him, but I don't like his character. I really don't like his character. But credit to Nathan Fillion, he did a great job playing him.
Yeah, I would watch a Justice Gang movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd watch a Justice
Justice
Gang
Gang.
episode on HBO Max. How about that?
I'm
Yeah,
looking,
there you go.
Guy
I'd like-
Gardner's in the Lantern series, and apparently he drops the F-bomb more than any show has ever dropped the F-bomb before.
Why do we
It's Guy
need
Gardner.
And I'm
but,
like-
we don't need that.
I'm like,
that seems like James Gunnery's to me for
Well,
no
the thing is,
reason
I
whatsoever.
need to
Get away with it.
I need to know how clever it's going to be done, because you can't just say we're dropping it the most ever. Like, and if it's Nathan Fillion doing it, I mean, this is the guy who, when he was working on Firefly, when he was working on Buffy, when he was working on The Rookie, would always have ideas to make something better, and they always end up paying off.
Yeah.
And it's like he's not going to do something that he doesn't think works unless he can figure out the best way to do it. And if he's dropping all these F-bombs, I want to see the clever ways he has acted for it, because that's going to make it actually important, as opposed to just abusing the fact that you're on HBO.
Well, it's like Steve Martin in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. He has that
Yeah.
whole scene where he's like, "I don't effing care for the way your effing company left me in the middle of effing nowhere with effing keys to an effing car that wasn't effing there." Like, it just builds and builds and builds until you get to the punchline of her going, "Oh dear," and him like, "What?" And she goes, "You're effed." Like
I threw the
Yeah.
receipt away.
mhm.
Yeah.
That is a great scene. Oh, it's a great movie. Have you guys
Right
ever
around the
John
time for it,
Candy
too.
thing yet?
Oh gosh, I've seen parts of it. I can't get through it because it's so heartbreaking. Because I grew up around friends and relatives of John Candy. I never got to meet him. He passed away when I was a kid. But all throughout the entire 90s, and as I was getting into the industry, all I would get is like stories like, "Oh, John used to do this, and these were the fun things that he would do." And he knew this one kid in his neighborhood that kept on getting teased, so he decided to take that kid's name and make a really endearing character with him on the stage at Second City, and just to help that kid out and give him some confidence. And you're like, man, he was such a good guy who cared so much about other people, but he just had, some other issues too that just led to, his sad premature passing too.
I got to prepare to watch that. Just like the Christopher Reeve one that came out last year.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch this one.
There's a brilliant sketch that John Candy did on a short-lived sketch comedy show where he is a food repairman. So
I'm sorry, what? Unless we're talking removing the pineapple off of the pizza, I don't understand how you're repairing food.
Oh, see, you're gonna get into it with neurotic now.
I don't give a damn.
Pineapple does belong on pizza. It's so good.
Thank you, Jeff.
Really
Thank
is,
you.
Yes.
You
Pineapple,
are all
throw in a
wrong,
little
and
bit of
that's
barbecue
okay.
sauce, maybe some
What?
diced chicken and mushrooms.
Andrew,
jalapenos.
come on. Yeah, the jalapenos with the pineapple, the sweet and the heat.
Yeah,
That's a winning combo, my friend.
It is. You just got to try it.
No, for instance, like the food. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but let's just say a part of a birthday cake is damaged, and he gives an estimate of how he'll fix it.
Yeah,
it's a brilliant concept, especially when he's like how many days it takes him to do it.
Ridiculous.
He and Phil Hartman are probably the two deaths that affected me the most when I found out about them.
Yeah.
Same, and Chris Farley. I was bummed out when he died, but
And
used to
Chris
joke-
Farley was hilarious.
I would always joke though, if I could bring back any dead celebrity, it would be Chris Farley. But the older I got and the more I learned about the way he lived, I think it would have been Phil Hartman, because I mean, it wasn't a vice that took Phil Hartman away.
Well,
Luckily, I don't
it
have
was
this
his wife's
power, that
vice.
judgment.
Yeah, it was his wife's vice. That's the thing. Like, it's,
Yeah, he was a victim of that. And you hear all these great stories about all these dudes. You don't have to like the person to like the art, and not everybody that's an artist has to be this perfect whatever. But it's nice. The ones that people I think stick with forever are the ones that were actually genuinely good, like a John Candy or a Phil Hartman. You just hear these stories and you're like, it's a tragedy what happened to them, but look at all they brought and look at all the happiness. And then you hear about how like John Candy would look after Macaulay Culkin. He would ask him, is he okay on Uncle Buck and stuff? Because apparently his dad was a shit.
yes.
Like, you just hear all these things and you're just like, yep, this dude was caring about everybody. And, those kind of people are rare.
It's an unfair world when we lose John Candy, but we still have Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
I mean, Steven Seagal. he cheated on Kelly LeBrock. Like Jenny McCarthy tells that story about like her going in for an audition on a movie that didn't even have any nudity in it, but he was like, "I'm gonna need to see you without your top." Number one, it's not hard to see Jenny McCarthy without her top. You know, she was in Playboy. You can look it up online. But yeah, the fact that he's that kind of guy. And every story about Steven Seagal is just what an unrepentant piece of shit he is. And that guy gets to weigh 400 pounds and still do movies where he's like, I'm doing martial arts, but I'm in a chair. I'm going to be in a chair the whole time. You can just kind of grab a guy, go like that. It's like that's what he's doing, and he's still around, but we lose someone like a John Candy. We lose
the only valuable thing about Steven Seagal are the nights I have been up till like 3 or 4 in the morning laughing my butt off with some of my friends, like Trace XL, who's a friend of the channel, and just laughing my tail off at like breakdowns, like those like parody type breakdowns of all of his garbage movies that he's made. Right. I can't for the life of me remember the name of the channel, but I've spent so many nights up late watching those with friends, and like that's funny. I get value out of that because you're laughing at something that's absolutely absurd and like the most piss poor quality you could possibly think of. But him as a person, nah, I'm good.
The best part of his career is Tom Segura's stand-up bit about his career. About seeing him on that cop shit. I've been a cop for. He's just talking about how he's like, no matter what it is, it's like, you see this helicopter? Yeah, it's a blah, 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 blah. And it's like, how do you know that? I've been flying helicopters for 40 years. It's like everything is just, I've been for 30 years. Just an expert in everything.
Did you happen to watch Tom Segura's new show, Bad Thoughts?
Mm-mm.
Really, really funny, but really dark.
Yeah. Well, it's called Bad Thoughts.
Well, I had never... So I mistook Tom Segura for somebody else for years because he was on some kind of stand-up special. I was like, is that a fat version of blah? You're like, I mistook him for somebody else, and I never really knew who he was. And then I watched his show blindly. Like, if you guys have Netflix, if you need something to watch late at night, just go watch this show. It is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to spoil any of the bits for you, but it's legitimately... It'll like when I go back to review my shows of the year, it'll be mentioned as just something that stands out because it's that weird and that bizarre and that fun. I laugh my ass off, but it's just don't watch it with your families around or children.
Okay, fair enough.
Overkill says soap opera edition. All right, since we're all soap opera fans, I mean, I love a good guiding light. Days of Our Pies, as the pie turns, General Hospital in Pie My Children.
Yellow Pies, Pie Man.
I like As the Pie Turns because I imagine it's in the microwave heating up. You got your Cool Whip ready to slap on it when it comes out.
I like how Aaron thinks. This is why we're friends.
This is a Ready Whip show, sir.
I mean, I'm fine with that too.
Real cream?
I don't know any soap operas. Like the closest thing I've ever watched to a soap opera in my life was season 1 of Walking Dead. Which was
that's the Walking
kind of a soap opera, but with zombies. And that's how I saw it going, which is why I didn't watch any seasons after it.
Did we do Guiding Pies?
We did not.
Guiding Pies.
No Guiding Light, no Guiding Pies.
I don't remember what soap opera it was, but there was a point where I was like sick at home and I got really sick at home. Didn't go to school. I think I had like chicken pox. And so I was out of school for like 2-3 weeks. And I remember just like watching the soap opera every day, and there was like an underground city, and I'm pretty sure that like
not Beauty and the Beast.
No, it was like a General Hospital or a Days of Our Lives or something like that. But they discovered an underground city. I remember there was a character named Gabrielle that I thought was kind of attractive. But like they had a whole underground city, and then it reminded me of this. I did used to watch a nighttime soap opera when I was a kid called Falcon Crest. I was super excited to. Yeah, I was super excited to stay up for Falcon Crest. Like, it's like I'd watch Dallas because I'm like, oh, this JR guy, he's evil, and I was kind of into that. But then I would watch Falcon Crest, and I was excited about it because there was like martial arts, and then Belloc, the actor that played Belloc, showed up for a season as the villain that was head of a cartel, and it had Richard, the guy that was the newspaper guy, played Barnaby Collins on on reruns of Dark Shadows that I got to see. So that's like why I was all super into that show. It's just because some of the actors that were on it. and it was a little more exciting, a little more action packed than
Aaron, I
most.
got your answer.
What is it?
You're likely thinking of Eternia, the storyline from the 1980 soap opera One Life to Live, which featured a character named Gabrielle and others trapped in an underground city. There's a separate character named Gabrielle, who's the protagonist of Beauty and the Beast. But I'm thinking it's going to be the One Life to Live.
It's One Life to Live. That is exactly right.
One
Thank
try
you.
One eye to live. There you go.
Right on. Now I'm gonna go look that up, and I'm probably gonna try to find it on YouTube, and then be like, why did I like this?
If you find a video, send it to the chat because we'll. Remember the other week I said let's find a way to come up with the worst stream ever. Let's do.
We
Let's
did
watch a
agree
soap
on
opera.
that last week.
Live commentary of One Life to Live.
I do have an idea for the worst stream ever, but it would end up being the best stream ever because before I came on tonight, I was watching Double Down by Neil Breen.
Oh,
All you
I love
have
Neil
to
Breen.
say is Neil Breen, and it's immediately the worst thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh,
know,
my
I bet
Lord.
with a series of. Is he still alive?
yes.
Yes.
I was gonna say with a series of emails, I'm sure we could get him on. Like he's
I
not
would
dead.
love to get him on and just like not insult him, not be me, but just ask him like, what's your process? I'd love to have script, just like go in with all of Script's knowledge, just go in and like really dissect the process of Neil Breen.
I've seen 4 of his movies. I would love to know how he gets from point A to point B.
Well, and
And
what
I'm
does he
being generous by calling it point B because it is another letter that's not in our alphabet.
What does he think when characters are just saying things randomly, like not to each other, but just like sitting around a table going like programmable virtual reality? And then someone else will be like, we are on the verge of mind hacking. And then another
Yeah.
person will be like, Homeland Security is ready. And you're like, what is happening? What is this?
He thinks that's a conversation. That's why.
I
I mean, and it's like he's listened to some Michael Bay movies without watching them. That's the best I can come up with at some point.
And
He's
he's
like the
always like-
non-horror version of like Bowie Bowl. It's the same quality.
yeah,
Well,
but just
yeah,
like
you're not
his
wrong.
shot
Way
choices.
different. It's way different because Uwe Boll can make something competent to a degree, like by accident he can. Neil Breen makes something like you just can't really process.
I'm trying so hard to take you seriously right now,
It's
and I
really-
usually
no,
take
you-
you very seriously.
no. Uwe Boll made Postal, which is probably I think one of his best normal
I
movies.
do like that movie. It's weird.
Like it's the only one there that actually like feels like a movie of his. But yeah, like Neil Breen, he reminds me of like because every couple of years I'll always get one client who wants to enter in screenwriting, and they send me their first script, and it's just like a Neil Breen script. Like it's just all these assumptions of how things work, of how dialogue is exchanged between characters, and it's exposition first and nothing else after that. And characters do stuff because the writer needs them to do stuff. I remember seeing this one that was kind of like it was inspired by the movie The One with Jet Li, where there's like clones of you in other universes.
I love that.
And
movie.
this
Mhm.
married couple's like, we have to stop our clones from this other universe. Why? And you ask why, and there's no explanation. They just have to do it.
No, and all of his movies are just like weird stream of consciousness. He's always like hacking into government systems to, expose corruption, but he's like a book author, but then he's also magic. And like none of these things ever connect in the movie. And you're just always waiting for like something to happen that goes, oh, I understand now why these things are happening. But it never does.
It never.
It's
The
the-
one where he's got a twin. Couldn't
Oh,
tell you
yeah.
what's going on.
And the twin has like a really bad beard. Like his composited shots are awful. He doesn't line things up. Like he'll use backgrounds, but he doesn't like do things at the angle of the background. Like it's just, and he should have accidentally gotten better by now. Like, but he's still just
His
as
production
bad.
quality looks like early YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes, but like he also grabs ideas that like, for instance, him with the brother and the goatee. I think he watched Star Trek: The Alternative Factor episode and thought, I want to do that
Mhm.
for 90 minutes. Or no, it was like 100 minutes.
And there's always actresses in it that are not hot, but they're still too hot to be interested in him.
yes.
Man, if that isn't an indictment on him, I don't know what it is.
The other part too is I don't know how he's able to convince them to be naked in some of those scenes because it's like
Script. I know you've worked on like real movies, but I have a friend who works on not real movies, and women will just if you're saying you're in a movie, they'll do it. Like, not Nick has a friend that makes shit movies, but every woman will be in the movie nude just because they want to be in a movie. Like, it's weird. There's like a psychology to it. I don't know what it is.
Like, the thing is, I know like women that were on the cusp of becoming professional actors, and some of them have been, and all of them would be like, yeah, no, they just want to sleep with me. I'm not going naked. And it's like, wow,
Yeah.
integrity. And then, yeah, you hear the stories on the independent side where they want the attention so bad, they will say yes to anything.
I've heard that actually in a lot of cases, the indie scene can be even
it's way more
worse
perverse. It's far
because
more perverse.
it's people like
Preying on
they're putting on
predators.
airs, right? So they're pretending like, oh, this movie's gonna be a big deal and you're gonna be a big deal, right? And and like getting people who are like so unfortunately vulnerable and naive and willing to just go along with it.
Years and
That's
years
pretty
ago-
mess up. That's
years and years
predatory is
ago-
what that is.
Yeah, I mean, years and years ago, there was this really fat toy dealer. He was like 350, 400 bills. And he would brag in the toy groups about how he'd pretend to be a porn producer and get these girls to audition with him. And
Wow.
yeah, it's like there's just the
That's
desire for
evil.
any kind of fame. That's why, like, the Me Too thing, like when it came out, I was like, okay, I mean, I understand there's a lot of predatory behavior. Obviously Harvey Weinstein is garbage, and there's a lot of these producers that are garbage. But let's not take away the agency of all of the women that willingly slept with Harvey Weinstein to get a role in a movie, that were willing to do this, that were willing to prostitute themselves. And it's like, I'm out here in Southern California. I've known plenty of actresses, and they are certainly willing to prostitute themselves in a number of ways to get even the slightest edge on the competition. So, let's not pretend it's a one-sided problem.
Oh no, it's absolutely not. I mean, that's why I followed the Me Too movement to be quite funny, because I would know like producers with like several year-long studio contracts and actually make movies that you go see, and women would throw themselves at them and they never offered or anything like that. I've seen some producers like turn them down just because they're like, no, I'm sore from the day before with another actress. Like, I can't, like, I'll book you for another day. And then I would then get hired as like a consultant, or maybe to polish up a script that's done on the independent side of things, where they don't have a studio contract yet, but they're in the talks with a distributor. And all they're doing is they're like, yep, so we're going to audition these girls here, and we want to make sure that, and it's like the producer's like, I want to bed her, like, and not just saying like to casters, like, no, that's my goal. I'm going to cast her just to bed her. She's a terrible actress, but she's hot, and I want to sleep with her. And it's like, dude, you're risking not just other people's money, but also your own to get laid. You're the reason this industry sucks. Like, and the independent stuff gets so much scrutiny on it because of all the skeevy stuff that's going on. And why? I mean, that's the other part too. Every time I get someone that says, yeah, I want to make a movie, I'm like, are you prepared to commit to 3 to 5 years of your life? And are you able to find other people that are able to commit 3 to 5 years of their lives in post-production to make sure that this thing gets done? Because not a lot of people in the independent world will do that. And they are like, yeah, for sure. I'm like, okay, great. I get my money. I do my part. And then I'm done, because I don't have to be, as a writer, I don't have to be there for the whole thing. And then what happens later? It's like, oh yeah, we ran out of money, and our editor left, and our Foley operators decided to work on another project, and yeah, it's just going to sit on the shelf for the rest of time. And you're like, yeah, that's what happens, man.
Now I have to ask Nick some more stories. I'll tell you off air, guys. I'll tell you off air.
Okay, all right. I'll take your word for it.
So,
Legend of Zelda, huh?
Yeah,
Legend of
the
Zelda.
movie's coming. We got our first 3 images of the Legend of Zelda film, and I think it looks good. I got to see the movie in action, but based on 3 images, I have no complaints.
The 3 stills look good.
3 stills look fine. I will say the stupidest thing I read regarding this is that someone's like, why is Link subordinate to Zelda? I'm like,
oh
Zelda's a princess, mother. Like, come on. Like, what else?
Are you not aware that knights and Link isn't even knighted? Like,
no,
at least not in most continuities.
Only in Twilight Princess would he be even close to a knight, but it's the dead Link that's a knight.
Yeah, it's literally his ancestor, right?
It's Ocarina of Time one, yeah. That's what that is.
Exactly. I'm super, Jeff, I know you're a huge Legend of Zelda fan as well. I'm very pleased so far with the screenshots that we've seen. I think that the castings, and forgive me, I'm horrible at remembering actors' names, and even
I don't
worse
know
at
these people
remembering
either, dude.
those who
Yeah.
I've never seen before as well. Honestly, it's a miracle I can remember like Tom Cruise's name, and that's only because I've seen so many of his movies. But both of these castings for Link and Zelda look fantastic so far. I do wish that they went with a slightly more blonde version of Zelda, but it's a little more Breath of the Wild here, and I'm okay with it. I'm not mad about it. She looks regal. She looks like she might. Obviously, we have to see actual trailers and footage from the film, but at least in the stills, it looks like she has presence, and that's important. She's a princess, right? I like that we're going with green tunic Link here.
You have to.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't see the hood yet. I don't see the cap, but I'm willing to hold off and maybe have that reveal in a trailer or whatever, and then we can all lose our minds.
I'd
Because
lose
I
my mind if
completely
his sword had an energy blast like in the range weapon of the very first Zelda.
it's not just in the very first Zelda, but yes, it is in that one for sure.
I mean, they've changed it in other Zeldas and then got rid of it in some other ones, which always bothered me. It's like, that's so cool. It's a sword that you can stab people with and then shoot them from really far away at the same time. That's awesome. Why would you ever give up that
it's a
mode?
fantastic ability, and I'm a fan of it. It only works when you're at full health.
That's right. It makes it even better.
But I do love it, and so far, I mean, I'm super happy from what I'm seeing. I've seen like stupid takes. We covered
What's the
Hunter
worst take you've seen? I love to hear those.
Okay, well, we already
The,
kind of
hunt,
covered.
the it should be Hunter Schafer is the dumbest take.
Yes.
That's the dumbest take on one end. The other dumbest take is from people who haven't actually played Legend of Zelda games. Like, why is Zelda carrying a bow? Like, she fights. Like, had you played any of the games outside
you ever
of
played
the
Super Smash
original
Brothers?
NES? Well, not just Super Smash Brothers.
No, but I'm
She
just saying
used-
a game where you can play as Zelda, because you don't play as Zelda
Right.
in those games. You just
But
see her
still,
fight.
there are mainline Legend of Zelda games where Zelda literally wields a bow. Multiple. She does it in the ending final boss fight for Wind Waker when Link is fighting Ganon, right?
I never finished that game.
When Hyrule is crashing down, you've got the oceans coming down all around you. It's a really cool imagery. She does it on horseback at the end of Twilight Princess. She also does it and helps you in Breath of the Wild. Like there are multiple games where she has a bow and arrow. Like, can we not, guys? I understand. We have spent the better part of the last decade with having garbage, girl boss stuff shoved down our throats. I understand hesitancy. However, can we please not insert that where it doesn't actually exist? Princess
Also,
Zelda,
too,
where
isn't
wielding
Zelda-
a bow is not an auto girl boss moment.
Well, isn't Zelda the boss of Link? Because she's the one that says, Link, do this, Link, do that. And then you go on the quest because of her to save her.
She has been since A Link to the Past, really, because it was in the first two Zelda games, you don't meet her right away, but it was in Link to the Past, so the third entry in the franchise, where like you meet her super early on and she entreats you and kind of orders you to do something, right? She's asking, she's polite. Zelda isn't a bitch, right? But she is in a position of authority, right? And especially in A Link to the Past, Link is from a house of knights of the royal family, specifically. So I reject it. Obviously, I understand, like I said, hesitancy in this day and age. However, Nintendo so far has done a good job with the first Mario Brothers film. I have high hopes for Mario Galaxy. I'm super excited for that. And so far, I haven't seen or heard anything regarding this film that leads me to be worried in the slightest. I think being worried, how do I want to say this? Being cautious is understandable and reasonable because it's 2025. However, I think being genuinely worried is a bit too performative and unnecessary because we haven't seen anything that gives us reason to do that.
Well, on top of that, it's also 2025. And remember, the good movies that we're seeing now that have come out over the last couple of years where those decisions were made 3 years prior.
Yeah.
And so they've already figured out that, yeah, we're not doing that stuff anymore. So now
'Cause it
we have
doesn't
something that's
work.
built in current days, where when it comes out next year or the year after, it's going to reflect, a little bit of like that mentality of that time it was filmed, but it's already a way better situation now than it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
What's the over under on us getting the it's dangerous to go alone? Take this.
I will.
It'll be in
Okay.
the movie for sure.
So here's
It's gotta be, right?
I'm trying to not be a hypocrite with this because I saw a tweet from like it's not an account that I follow. I forget the name of them, but it was some account that had like millions of followers, and they said, "Please let this have the excuse me, princess" line from that garbage, abhorrent animated series from back in the day.
Yeah, let's
And
not.
I said, "I'm sorry." I quote retweeted it. And I was like, I'd rather the movie take itself seriously enough to not reference an absolutely horrendous adaptation. Can we please not do that? However, the "it's dangerous to go alone" line, if utilized well, I think that has its place.
I'd rather, as opposed to the excuse me, princess, I would be less irritated if someone in the Link movie or in the Zelda movie said, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch." I would be less irritated with that
Right,
reference
right.
than I would the "excuse me, princess." I do think there is a now in pop culture. I think the "it's dangerous to go alone." Too many hack writers have put that into things, but in
Yeah.
this movie, I think it can fit, and I think it can be done well.
It has to be placed perfectly, though. Otherwise, it's just going to feel like wink, wink, nod, nod. Oh, hey, we know about the meme. We know about the thing from the first game. Like, I don't want it to come across that way. If you put it in tastefully, I will be here for it, and I will be like, "Thank you. You referenced the
I've
very
used it a
first
lot.
game I ever played."
I've never used it in a script, but I've used it a lot in life. But it's always when I'm handing a friend something like a kitten. It's
Oh,
dangerous to
okay.
go alone. Take this.
I only have one hesitation, and it's not big. I just don't want to watch a movie with the two of them the whole time. Like, I know that in the last one, Zelda plays a bigger part in the gameplay, and that's fine. I don't want every game to be the same. But like for a Zelda movie, I kind of want to see Link on his own going through dungeons and it kind of being dark and a little bit scary. I feel like if he's always got somebody to play off of, it kind of takes that away. Plus, that's really not the Zelda experience. Like, I don't want them to be too literal with, well, Zelda's in the title, we have to make her a main character. Like, she should be the second. I'd say she should be the third most important character after Link and
sadly,
Ganon.
a lot of producers are like, "Oh, Legend of Zelda shows she's the main character." It's like, no, it's
No.
you're not getting what it is.
When I was growing up, I had to keep explaining to kids at school that Link's name was not Zelda.
Yeah. I think so. I do understand where you're coming from, Jeff. And I think if I had the choice, I would rather it be like a minimal early on interaction, or maybe at some point in Act 2 where we see the two of them together for a decent amount of time. I would prefer it to be primarily Link as the focus. However, I think cards is dealt. I think what they're probably going to end up doing is going to be going for a bit more of a almost Lord of the Rings Fellowship feel. That's just my guess. I actually hope I'm wrong, because I would rather, like you, prefer the focus to primarily be on Link for the bulk of the film. But as long as they write Zelda well, and they still have the same kind of beats and character beats as the games, when the games have something resembling a decent story, not all of them do.
Fair point.
I think that they could pull it off very well. Again, I'm trying to base this off of looking at it with I'm trying to look at it through the lens of what we've actually seen out of Nintendo in the last few years when it comes to movie adaptations of their material. I'm trying to not look at it through the lens of information we don't have. So I could look at it through the lens of, oh, Nintendo's absolutely going to go woke with this, and Zelda's going to be a girl boss, and blah, 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 blah. Well, I don't have reason to believe that because they haven't done that so far. They didn't do that with the Mario movie. They had Peach kicking butt in a few scenes, but the movie was a story about the brothers. And the brothers had the ultimate like finale takedown of Bowser. And it was an amazing scene. And I wanted to stand up in my seat in the theater when they got the Power Stars, and then kicked his ass. And I was like, this is everything right now. So far, the only logical lens to look at this through is with that of they're going to respect the fans of this property. I could be proven wrong. I'm willing to be proven wrong. I hope I'm not proven wrong.
Well, this movie's been in the works for over 25 years. Like that's
people have been asking for a live action Legend of Zelda for quite a long time, right? And so if we're not going to count Legend, then this is what we've got. And so,
dude, in the 90s, I wrote a letter to Nintendo Power telling them I wanted a Zelda movie. So it's been a while.
They've been trying to make it, and there's a lot of people that have gotten pretty close, and then everything just kind of falls apart. And so I'm hoping that this one, pays off.
I love any story where you're in and you're pitching to a Japanese company, and all of the Japanese members stand up, bow, and then leave, and you have no idea what that means.
Oh yeah, I've had a couple of those. I actually think one of them I did literally go into the wrong office.
Oh wow. Jeff, I know you're a big Legend of Zelda fan like I am. My thoughts are that I think they're gonna try and blend a lot of the atmosphere and characterization from the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom entries into this film, because that's what's been like the most culturally relevant lately, even though they're the least Legend of Zelda games that I've played in recent years because they're just big, empty open worlds. There are good that's a little disingenuous. There are good stories in there if you're just focusing on like the story missions.
I agree.
What do you lean into? What do you want, Andrew? You want a top-down film where we're just watching, like we're
I
just filmed by a drone?
I want
that's an Ang Lee version of Legend of Zelda. That's what that is.
I want a prettier, like slightly larger, like Twilight Princess tone Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, okay. See, I want very European, like. I just basically want them to do like Lord of the Rings, but with a Zelda paint of coat. Yes, I said that the right way. No, but realistically, I would like, if I was making this movie, it would be, I'd probably do either the original story, or Ocarina of Time. I don't think I would do Link to the Past. I know everyone's like, oh,
really?
Link to the Past is the best one. I don't think Link to the Past is the best one. I think the Ocarina of Time would make a better movie series because you could do.
Well, you could have young Link and 17-year-old Link in that one.
And it can end, and you can end the second one on a dark cliffhanger, and then you can go in and close it out with this epic finale. Because the thing I don't want them to do is this version of Zelda. The first thing I said when I saw this posted, besides, oh, this looks fine, is I guess traditional Zelda's dead forever. Because when this becomes the norm and everybody thinks that this is what Zelda is, Nintendo will never, ever make another dungeon-based classic Zelda. And I think
the success of Tears of the Kingdom kind of solidified that already. If this doesn't put the final nail in the coffin anyway, right? Because like I'm one of those, I'm like you, I like dungeon-based Legend of Zelda. And while I don't mind a larger world, if you're just going to give me a couple of like really weak puzzle-filled pseudo dungeons, and then like, oh, here's 150 like mini dungeons, like that's, I don't know. I don't look at that and see Legend of Zelda. I like my big sprawling dungeons that take me a couple hours to get through if they're done well, and are fun and have a lot of places to explore.
I want better boss battles too.
Yeah. And better boss battles for sure.
For the love of God, stop with the weapons breaking. Nintendo, that was the dumbest thing you added.
Weapon degradation was awful.
Absolutely. Other than that, awful. Like I'm pretty okay with the new versions of Zelda. I bought a Switch on day one to play Breath of the Wild. I absolutely loved that game. And when I first moved back from California, I got whatchamacallit, the Tears of the Kingdom, and I played the hell out of that, and I liked it. but I thought that game was a little lazy because it was the same map with just an added upstairs and downstairs, and it took away. And I also too I like the exploring to a degree. I don't want the game to be exploration. Like I like Ocarina of Time because it's got a clear narrative, but you can get lost exploring.
You can, or at least we were able to when we were, 9 and 10 years old.
Dude, I would load that game up and I would just call my horse and I'd ride around the field. And then I would go up to the mountains and do this. And that was, to me,
I would
like
ride around on Epona.
Yeah.
That's how I play Red Dead 2. I've never completed the story because I just ride off into the hills and I just do cowboy stuff for hours.
Are you going to get the remaster that's coming out?
I might. It would give me an excuse to play through it again.
See, I'm thinking about it because my PS4 is not what it used to be. And also, too, I guess I have lost my patience because that thing takes forever to load. And so I already own Red Dead on the PS4, but I'd rather play it on the Xbox where it'll load faster and look nicer. But I just don't want to reward Rockstar.
Oh, that's right, because you have a Series X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
newest system I have is the Switch 2, which isn't as powerful as the Series X or the PS5 for that matter.
It's coming out on the Switch 2, though, Andrew.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I will say the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom run and look very, very good on the Switch 2. It kind of, honestly, it's one of those cases of like, oh, well, this is probably how this game should have looked and run when it was launched initially. Right. So typical Nintendo marching to the beat of their own drum, and the beat of their own drum is a full song behind. That's just kind of what they do.
Well, like you said, they did a good job with Mario, but I don't know. We'll see with Zelda. It's too early to call anything, but I am looking forward to the meta narrative around the film because that's always going to be the best.
I want to see who they get to play Ganon. Or
He'll be black.
Ganondorf specifically.
I don't know. I've seen a couple of women that look just like Ganon. They should get them.
I agree.
The chick that is in Wicked that plays was it Alphaba?
Cynthia Erivo? No, she doesn't look mean enough. She's too small.
She'd need to eat a few sandwiches. But she's got the nose. But then again, I guess so do I.
We just need to like once Wicked is over, she just needs to be forgotten to the dustbin of history.
If she needs to be forgotten, then can somebody? I'm pleading with the internet, with Hollywood, with the woman herself, Ariana. Please eat something and stop taking whatever they're giving you, because you were already very, very slim, and now you look like you're skin and bones, and it's scary.
And don't have any more plastic surgery. You already look like a Who from Whoville. Now, granted, you're a very cute Who from Whoville, but you still look like a Who from Whoville. And have you seen the interview where she's talking about I was like, is this real or is this AI? Where she's talking about how she went to the Brighter Days clinic and they had the memory erase. She had the memory erase
that was from last year. Yeah,
is that real?
That's real.
I haven't seen that.
I don't know if they really did erase her memory or just give her a bunch of drugs and she blacked out. But yeah,
wait, that's a thing you can do is have your memories erased.
Well, there's electroshock therapy, which can damage your brain and give you gaps in your memory. I know
that's how Harvey what Harvey Weinstein would do to actresses over the years.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
They couldn't talk.
Holy crap. That's scary, man.
Yeah, but I think that's from the interview from the first Wicked Part 1 that she did that. She just was rambling, and then people ushered her away because I don't think she was supposed to be talking about that.
There's all kinds of things you're not supposed to be talking about. Like that whole relationship between the two of them. There's something weird going on there, and it's like I'm like, is this witchcraft? Is this what is this hold?
So Cynthia Erivo is a vampire, and her latest prey is Ariana Grande. And
she's a succubus.
She's like her familiar or something. There's just some sort of thing going on there.
That's scary. Get that woman away from my guilty pleasure. All right. When it comes to music, because Ariana Grande was adorable, and she would have her, super attractive moments, but she was adorable. She was very talented. She was just teetering on that edge of man, I hope you at least eat 3 meals a day. And now it looks like she just doesn't eat at all. And that's
just 3 meals a year, Andrew. It's economic.
Dating Pete Davidson will do that to you.
He's something. He is something.
He is a mess.
Yeah. To wrap things up on this,
I'm glad he's not in this movie.
Yeah, I'm glad he isn't either. I think I guess
You know who's in
to
this
bring
movie
things
that
full circle.
In this movie that I enjoy, aside from the obvious Jeff Goldblum, is I find Bowden Yang to be quite funny on Saturday Night Live. That's the only other complimentary thing I'll say about this. Bowden Yang amuses me.
Okay. All right. All
Is he
right.
the gay guy?
Yeah, the gay Asian guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Asian?
He's just got some good delivery. Like I love the one where they're doing the Arby's commercial. Where he like says to the girl, yeah, there's like, well, I don't know what would sound reasonable, because they're like, this is too much sandwich for a low price. What is this meat? What is this meat? And then they get to, and then I think
There's stale bread for one.
Yeah, Cecily Strong is like, I don't know, like 3 roast beef sandwiches for $15, and he's like, you're gonna eat 3 roast beef sandwiches? And she like slaps him. She's like, don't you shame me? Like right in the middle of in my first Arby's commercial.
That's funny.
That's
I'm
rarity.
glad
Saturday Night Live hasn't been funny for a couple decades.
They have a couple every now and then. They have a skit that like the when Shane Gillis was on there and they did a couple of beers.
Oh yeah.
That was
Shane
good.
wrote that. That's why.
Uh-huh.
They had one great episode in the right before COVID, the Eddie Murphy episode where he came out of whatever and did that one episode of SNL. That was a solid episode across the board.
It's Eddie Murphy. He's king hysteria.
Yeah.
And he was what made SNL for a very long time.
Well, no, he was actually on SNL for a very short time because he then started doing a movie career. It was Phil Hartman that saved SNL in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
That carried over. But Eddie Murphy didn't want to go back to SNL, even though he'd been asked to host several times every year, because David Spade made an off-color joke on the Weekend Update sketch.
It was amazing, though.
It was a great joke, though.
It was a great joke, yeah.
So for those who don't know, there was an episode of SNL with Weekend Update, and he had the Hollywood Minute, and David Spade would, for 1 minute, make a bunch of snarky jokes, and he pulls up a picture of Eddie Murphy and goes, "Look, kids, a falling star."
This was after the Vampire in Brooklyn movie, I think, came out, right?
Yeah.
Which I find an entertaining movie. And,
I like that film.
Yeah, it's like Eddie Murphy's funny in it. Kadeem Hardison is funny in it, and Angela Bassett is playing it straight as a heart attack. She does not know she's in a comedy.
Just like Demi Moore in Striptease does not know it's a comedy.
I didn't know Striptease was a comedy when I watched it.
Oh, it is. Robert Patrick is hysterical in it. So is Burt Reynolds and Vaseline just walking around. Like, what the hell?
I love Burt Reynolds.
But Jeff, is this remind me, is this Netflix or is this a theatrical release? Oh,
this is theatrical.
Okay.
You couldn't put Zelda on Netflix. Come on now.
No,
Mario made
like
over
she
$1
would
billion.
be if this were a Netflix production, she would.
They'd have what's her face from Wicked.
They'd have Hunter Schafer, but they also would have broken her spine so they could just get an extra level of representation. So you'd have Hunter Schafer in a wheelchair as Zelda.
I'm glad that didn't.
Actually, you know what? I take it back. Hunter Schafer's probably too white to play a Netflix Zelda.
Yeah.
Who would it be?
Cynthia Erivo.
I know he somehow doesn't look masculine enough.
I'm just glad you guys are tired of that lady too. I hate when Hollywood gets this bug about somebody. It doesn't matter what they look like or what they're singing. It's just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just jaded because it's like when everyone was obsessed with that shit Hamilton. I'm like, I don't give a crap about this.
Thank you.
I'm hearing about it.
Thank you. I tried to listen to that, and I hated it.
Like the performance. As somebody who does enjoy musical theater and who participates in musical theater, you're not telling me any jokes that I haven't heard before. You're gonna have to try harder.
Unfiltered Aaron's my favorite Aaron.
Unfiltered Aaron's fantastic. I love him.
Can you just keep the filter off forever,
platonic,
Aaron?
heterosexual way, by the way.
Always be on Vicodin, like whenever I come on the show.
Okay, I won't take it that far because I do care about your health. But
I mean, it's a once a week Vicodin a habit.
If it's an eighth of a pill, you're okay.
Maybe a little bit. Her performance in that first Wicked was good. It wasn't the most amazing thing I've ever seen. She did a good job. It wasn't like she gave a bad performance. However, it's her outside of the film and everything that she does and the way that she acts in interviews. That's what's creepy. And that's what is a complete turnoff. And I'm just kind of
her look from the skeletal shaved head to the
you
nose,
look like
to
a
the
demon.
septum piercing, to the the demon nails, like everything about her is it's like designed to be off-putting.
Yeah. Like you gave a good performance in the film, and if it had just been that and left at that, cool. All right, fine. You gave a good performance in your film. But you're incredibly creepy and disturbing outside of it.
And we
it's,
never
it's
get
hard
to
to
see
see
her
past.
properly walk like in person. Like they always cut to her standing or sitting because I think when she walks, she just glides across the floor like Gary Oldman's Dracula in Bram Stoker's film. Like
I
there's
think
just
she's
no...
stop motions like Dr. Vaniket in House on Haunted Hill, where she just
Oh yeah, that could be it too.
Maybe.
So does Wicked make $1 billion part 2?
Probably.
What did the first one make?
I'll look it up.
Got
I
pretty
can't
close. It was
honestly
huge.
remember.
860,000.
Okay, I know it did a lot. I know it did well.
No,
but
that's
I
what I'm
guess the
guessing.
question-
That's what I'm guessing for 2 is 860.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see it.
The first one did 758 million worldwide.
Okay, then
I don't think
yeah,
the
I'll
sequel
probably hit that.
beats that then.
So
it'll probably be somewhere within a margin of error of that one.
I just feel really bad for Dion because his wife is into Wicked and he's not.
Oh, so he's stuck going regardless.
Chat,
Yeah.
F's in the chat for Dion, man.
F's
Yeah.
in the chat
Pour
for
one out.
Dion. Like, look, as a musical, Wicked is an impressive piece of art. Regardless of how you feel about like the storytelling and what it does and tweaks with the characters from the Wizard of Oz, that's entirely fair.
It's Wizard of Oz fan fiction, but it
is. And that's actually a really good way to put it.
Visually interesting.
But it's visually interesting. There's some genuinely good for people that can actually sing the parts. There are some genuinely good and impressive musical numbers for that. Like again, if you have the taste
Ariana
for
can sing.
musicals.
Ariana can sing. There is no doubt about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I'm already over this. I probably won't even watch or consider watching the sequel in the high seas just because like now that I've seen all of the post first movie like interviews and stuff with demon vampire chick.
Is she the K-pop demon hunter we talk about all the time?
No, because
she's what
K-pop
they
Demon
should be
Hunters is
hunting.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That movie is amazing. I love it. That's like top 3 animated, like CGI animated movies of all time for me.
Really?
Yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters, Jeff, it's one of those things where it's like Wes convinced me to watch it. I never would have watched it on my own because it's just one of those things that I look at and I go, this is not for me.
Mhm.
But
Exactly
Wes
what I
was
thought.
like, Wes was like, you got to check it out, and we'll talk about it on the show. So he made it an assignment, and I watched it, and I was like, I actually am having a good time with this.
There's a good story in there,
Mhm.
right? There's
And
a
the
good
songs-
story in there.
the
And just
songs are
great,
catchy.
songs. Yeah.
Mhm. Good animation, I liked it.
It
So I'm
doesn't
doing
it doesn't
myself a
do any of
disservice?
the like stupid like modern tropes that we're like at this point conditioned to like reel at. It's just a fun movie. I still can't bring myself to put it above the first How to Train Your Dragon. That's my favorite CGI animated film. I
Agreed.
adore that movie. Right below that is the first Toy Story, and then below that is K-pop
Toy Story
Demon
2.
Hunters. I love Toy Story 2, but the first movie is perfect for me. If you just left it at the first movie, you would not have to do anything else. The movie.
I wish they just left it at the second movie.
Yeah, because I prefer.
Didn't they just
Buzz
show
Lightyear.
a trailer or a teaser for another one? or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
for
that?
5.
Yeah.
What?
And by
What
the
are
way,
we doing
here's
here?
here's the funny part about that. Like Woody is back in the room for some reason, so I'm sure that we'll get a little brief explanation of how that happened.
Is it like Andy's child's room now?
No,
He
it's
gave those
still
toys away.
Bonnie. Forky's there, so it's still Bonnie. It's still the worst character in Toy Story history. Bonnie is horrible.
Yeah.
So, but like it's
Jessie
about-
was cooler. I'm sorry.
Jessie rocks.
Jessie
like-
was amazing. She was fun as hell in Toy Story 2.
The only thing I didn't like about Jessie is that then in 3 they decided they could get rid of Bo Peep because they had Jessie, and I
Yeah.
liked
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And then in 4 they bring back Bo Peep, but it's like, but she sucks because the story sucks.
That's what I heard. I heard
Um,
that. So I still haven't. I've only seen the first 2. I've been told that 3 is a great movie.
I disagree,
but
that's just me.
I've been told by so many people whom I usually trust, have told me that movie is amazing. I've just
It
been
has
like,
one really great scene when they're all in an incinerator and they think they're gonna die, and they animate the looks on their faces like they've all come to terms with death, and you're like, why am I looking at a group of toys and feeling something?
Yeah, they
And
all
then
reach out and grab each other's hands, and they've just accepted
Yeah.
that they're going to die. That is the scene that makes that movie.
Yeah, that's it.
okay.
Other than that, the rest is just
Otherwise, it's Toy
Mexican Buzz
Story 2
Lightyear.
all over again.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, so I'm fine with just leaving it as having seen Toy Story 1 and 2, because those movies are absolutely wonderful and seminal to my childhood, and I don't need that being ruined.
I will
Yeah,
say that the
Story 2 is
shorts,
fun.
Toy Story of Terror and Toy Story That Time Forgot is particularly good. And that was directed by Steve Purcell, who did Sam and Max.
Oh man.
Ooh.
And you can tell because the toys that are in it are like these prehistoric dinosaur toys that are at the neighbor's house, and they're cool as hell. And it was like,
Okay.
I was like, I wish this was a legit toy line. They did release action figures of some of the dinosaur guys. But like, I wanted the whole toy line with the mountain that they had. And, they built a whole mythology around these tribal dinosaur toys.
Aaron, I got a serious question for you, and I'm going to
Mhm.
ask everybody in the chat too. Let's say Disney, for some reason, hires you to do your own Toy Story, and you're allowed to use licensed toys. What toys are you putting in your Toy Story? Give me like three examples.
Okay. And so Barbie's already in, right? Because
Yeah.
Barbie's been in previously. Okay. So
Everything's the way it is.
I'm
Dude,
using
her
He-Man.
ending part in Toy Story 2 was amazing.
Yeah, I'm using He-Man and Skeletor.
Of course.
I'm gonna use I could probably use Major Matt Mason
Ooh.
because that's a good like old school callback. And then Optimus Prime.
I need you to find a way to insert the Street Sharks into there.
I would definitely put the Street Sharks in there. I mean, I would
need
do
you to
like
make it work.
I would do a ton of 80s stuff if I could. Like, I'd bring in the Inhumanoids, no matter how obscure, Sectors, Inhumanoids, all that stuff, all those great, great cool toy lines. The funny thing is, I have worked on Toy Story, the comic books, and this Toy Story 5, with the video game, like the learning pad that Bonnie gets, that's apparently going to be the antagonist in the film. That was very similar to a storyline that Jesse Snyder pitched when we were working on the book together, and that was rejected by the approval people at Disney. Much like many of the ideas that ended up in Toy Story 2 were rejected by Disney. We were told we couldn't do it because it just wasn't allowed. Like, for example, putting the potato head parts on, in the Toy Story 2 or Toy Story 3, he's like on a cucumber, he's on a tortilla. As he's trying to like get back. Jesse had already pitched that, but it was he was on an onion. He was on, because they had lost his body as part of this storyline that Jesse was pitching. So a lot of that stuff, I don't know if it gets rejected because it's like, look, it's already in development and we're already doing that joke. Or if it's just, no, you can't do it because we're the approval people and it's easier to say no than it is to find out if you can actually do it. But then those ideas get picked up and used later in the films.
In most cases with Disney, no matter what you pitch, they try to frame it in a way that they claim ownership of the ideas you pitch without having to pay you for it.
Yeah, even if they don't use it, somehow they still own it.
Yeah, it's why I don't pitch at Disney ever.
I don't pitch because I'm not invited, but Warner Brothers is different. No, sure.
I've got a Finding Nemo pitch that we put in that got approved. That would have been a $1 billion movie, but
Is it because you didn't want Ellen DeGeneres in it? That's
No, she was in it, but what it was, and so I took the idea to two writers who had done a book called The Stuffed of Legend, Mike Raked, and then his, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, and then the name of his writing partner escapes me. But this was a situation where it's like I would come up with ideas and then I wasn't allowed to write them, so I would hire people and then give it to them, and then they would go and run with it and add their own salt, their own flavor. And so what it was you remember, Jeff, on Saturday I complimented you on Stealing Solo because I said Stealing Solo 2 because I said I always like when you take the formula, the first one, and you flip it. And that's what we were going to do with the Finding Nemo story that we were going to do. Is it was going to be a story about Bruce the shark and his relationship with his dad, and Marlin ends up having to kind of like coach him on trying to repair the relationship with his dad based upon the what he learned in the first movie in learning to relate to Nemo. Except for the fact that Bruce's dad, whose name was Brody, because we were like, yeah, make the whole Jaws connection. He's a real shark. He's not a, Fisher friends, not food shark. And he's disappointed in Bruce because Bruce has gone vegetarian. And he's like, I'm going to teach you how to kill. And so it's a lot scarier for Marlon because in having to have this heart-to-heart with Brody will eat him. He has no compunctions about doing so. So it's like there was a lot of like really fun stuff baked in. We had like Darla baked in there, like because the whole reason that the story gets off to the start that it does is because Bruce and the vegetarian sharks are swimming, near Australia, and Darla is diving. And because she's a fish psycho, as established in the first Finding Nemo film, she swims over and starts hugging on Bruce. And because Bruce doesn't attack her, and it gets caught on film, that she gets known as like the shark whisperer. And so these people want to do this show with her where it's like she swims into these schools of sharks because sharks don't attack her because she's it's about the irresponsibility of Hollywood with child stars. And it's also about, the father-son relationships. And then at the end, it just ends in a big confrontation where Brody is, Darla's diving and she's going to do the shark whisperer pilot. And Brody is like telling Bruce, I'm going to show you what a shark is. And so he's going to eat Darla on camera. And then Bruce has to stand up to his dad and keep his dad from doing it, like fight his dad off and then convince his dad that his even though you don't understand me, I'm still your son. And this is, that, you have to learn to respect me and my wishes as an adult, and just like, and it just culminates in that. But, we were tying all those elements together from the first film, and that would have been the pitch.
I would have watched. Well,
yeah, Marlon and Nemo caught in the middle.
Mm-hmm. I still haven't seen the sequel to Finding Nemo, but I would watch that one.
The sequel's worth it for Hank.
Okay.
Hank the Septipus.
Okay. I like the first movie,
Hank.
genuinely.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first movie is a genuinely fun, heartwarming film.
Mm-hmm.
But I had no interest in a sequel to it. But that pitch right there, I would have watched that.
Andrew, pitch me what toys you would add to Toy Story, your version of Toy Story.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got off on it. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. I'm going to clip that. People love this stuff.
So all of mine, because you already opened it up to different IPs and things like that. So Aaron, predictably and respectably, went for like the more 80s and leaned into all those classic toy lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody could have done that better than Aaron. I will lean into like the Square Enix Play Arts Kai and like your Yamaguchi Revoltech, like hyper articulated action figures, like your Final Fantasy stuff for the Play Arts, and your
Mm-hmm.
some of the superhero stuff they do with Revoltech. So I've got a really nice like classic Iron Spider, not the BS MCU Iron Spider suit. I've got the one from Civil War that's made by Revoltech, and it looks absolutely beautiful. Metallic. It's got a bazillion points of articulation. Obviously, that's an exaggeration. I don't know the exact number because I don't remember.
But that's an actual unit of measurement, a bajillion.
It is when it comes to Japanese, right? Because they will absolutely exaggerate for the point of sale. And I would lean into having those characters in there. And so now all of a sudden you have these. Woody thought it was a big deal to have to compete in the first movie with somebody like Buzz, who's he's a spaceman, right? He's an astronaut, and he's got a cool jetpack. Well, that ain't diddly squat compared to what all of these toys have. But at the end of the day, I think what you could do, because there's something I think in this day and age that we take for granted, and that's simplicity, and that's remembering our roots. That's remembering that not everything is all about having a complete gigantic library of information at our fingertips, like on our phones, or having the most complicated toys on the planet. There's a lot to be said and appreciated about simplicity. And so you could tell a story that involves action figures and toys that are far more advanced and incredible than anything that we've seen so far, and certainly more incredible than I had growing up. When I had grown up, the mind-blowing thing was the fact that my Power Rangers could morph. Their heads flipped, right? That was wild to me. I was like, check this out.
Their chests were super bulky because of it. They were dumb.
Right? It was wild, right? And Jeff, I know you had them too.
I wouldn't call the Power Ranger toys simple. Like, see, when you go to Power Ranger toys, you think of those flip head ones, which are cool. But I think of the first ones that came out, the 8-inch figures that had movable fingers and their ankles moved. And
I
they,
didn't have
like,
any of those. I just had the
I,
flip head ones. That's the only
tho-
ones I had.
I was a spoiled kid. I was an only child, but my mom was a single working
Apparently.
mom. But man, when it came to Power Rangers, when it came to a lot of shit, my mom was like, no problem. But when it came to those Power Ranger toys, I had them all. And see,
Okay.
that's where I would roll into. I would do it as a joke. I would have the Toy Story people introduced to actual Power Ranger toys, a Pokemon thing, and something else from Japan is a commentary. Because you know how it went from cowboys to space race? I want it to be Western versus Eastern influence, where it's like the joke for Pokemon is all they do is say their own name, but somehow like Rex can understand it or something. It's like a Pikachu,
Right?
Like a little Pikachu figurine. And then
Rex
Power
is
Rangers
the
would be-
only one that can understand Pikachu.
Yeah, and I'd have
I
something
love
stupid
that.
with like the Power Rangers, like they can just like make all their shit appear like on the show, like, oh, where do they get these Zords from? They just show up, they do all these things. But then I couldn't.
They're
think of a third
Japanese.
one.
We don't know how it works.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of like what a third Japanese toy would be. Because I was like, I want to do that because if all these Toy Story movies have something to say, and I think
Well, you'd
that
have
would
to
be
lean
kind of
into
funny.
tokusatsu, right? You'd have to lean into like your you could go Gatchaman, or you could go Kamen Rider, or you could go anything.
It's got to
like
be
that.
something that's recognizable to everybody. Like Power Rangers is as American as it is Japanese at this point. And Pokemon,
At this
I get
point,
it that it's, and I get that Pokemon is, Game Freak and all this stuff, but Pokemon's been big in America since 1998. So it's kind of like, we're almost at year 30 for Pokemon saturation. But Toy Story was already deep, like Pokemon existed after Toy Story. And by the time Toy Story 2 comes out, we're rocking Pokemon's kind of a new thing. So I think that would be interesting. I mean, yeah, of course I'd love to
That
see
could be
Buzz
fun.
Lightyear and Batman team up or something silly like that.
Oh yeah,
But-
that'd be cool.
Well, you're already going to get the Marvel characters in there because of corporate synergy, so I didn't feel the need to name those. You did give me an idea for a joke, though. I don't know if they ever did it when you were talking about simplicity, because I started thinking about simple toys and I started thinking about Weebles, and I was like,
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
Exactly right. I'm like, was there ever a joke in Toy Story where they had a Weeble? Because you got the character Rocky Gibraltar, and Jesse Snyder used him a lot in the Toy Story book. Which, by the way, if you've never gotten a chance to check out those comics, I recommend trying to track them down. They're really good. Jeff, if you ever want to have Jesse on the show, we could come on and just talk about all the failed pitches and things like that for all these Disney.
What's he
properties.
doing in a couple weeks? I definitely want to have him on.
I'm sure we could get him on. No problem. Just let me know when. But like, there's ever been a joke like it'd be cool to have Rocky like get into an argument with a Weeble and he keeps punching it and it keeps popping right back up, and then and then you cut back later and he's absolutely exhausted because he cannot knock this thing down.
Aaron, I have to ask, because you brought it up earlier on in the show. Does the fact that I knew the catchphrase fall under the category of things that Andrew
You should not know
shockingly
that.
knows about? Yeah.
Yes. See, I thought I was going to get to the punchline of him knocking this thing down, and it keeps
No,
popping
I
back up
automatically
because,
knew
of
what you were
course,
going for.
Yeah, Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
I would love
I
to
will
see
take that as a win.
It is a win.
I think Optimus Prime would fit really well into Toy Story. Script,
He's got to give the big speech. Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Toy Story. Let's see. Beanie Babies, Furbies, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mask.
Oh, the Turtles would be great.
Can we make the Furbies evil? Can
Yes.
they be
Yeah,
conspiring
The
amongst
Furbies have
themselves?
to be
Yeah.
evil. The
Uh-huh.
Furbies have to be like an insert for Gremlins, is what they have to be.
I'd even
just
go one
imagine
step
Woody
further and
walks-
get the toys from Small Soldiers in there, because even though it's a different company, I like those toys. Those look cool.
That's what
Yeah.
I wanted too.
Phil
Chip
Hartman.
Hazard versus Buzz Lightyear. I used to play that in the 90s.
Can you imagine though the creepiness of like Woody walks up to the bedroom? This happened to my sister too when she had Furbies, but he just walks up to the bedroom and he hears the Furbies talking, and like he gets there and he puts his head around the corner and they're all just like whispering to themselves, and then all their eyes flick over to him and they just stop. That happened to my sister. Her Furbies were in there like talking in their little Furby language, and she walked into the room and they all just stopped.
I'd be the
That's
dad
when
threw
they
my Furbies
immediately
away.
go into the incinerator. Like, I don't trust that. We're not. I ain't about that. I ain't doing that.
I'm removing all of those batteries.
my Furbies were singing a song and they were all chanting a song in a language I think they invented. I'm like, oh yeah, right into the incinerator.
It sounded somewhat similar to Latin. Okay, they are definitely getting melted down right now.
All of their eyes were rolled back in their heads, so
Right?
just whites.
White eyes.
instead of those giant freaking irises and pupils you see, it was just the white scleras of their eyes. It's like, nope, we are not doing this.
Their voices were all guttural.
Not today, Satan.
Those were the dumbest toys of the 90s.
I did not understand it. My parents didn't want us to have them, and my sister and I had zero interest in them. We were just like, that's a little weird for me. I'm not about it. I'm not here for it.
Dude, I was weird. I didn't want, and I still don't really have many. If a toy's not based on something, I tend to not buy it. Like, I only have a few things that are like toy only things. Like 90% of this collection is literally like, I have
like
a
it's
Hawkeye
a toy
action
IP, not an IP that was turned into a toy. I got you. Yeah.
I have my brother's childhood Teddy Ruxpin and Grubby in my storage unit.
Oh, I got
Teddy
Teddy
Ruxpin is
too,
weird.
So. Yeah.
Wow.
He was cool, except that, like, if you put another tape in him, he could play it, but like he wouldn't react to it. Because I really wanted to get Teddy Ruxpin like singing some AC/DC, like him and Grubby, just like.
You should have got an NWA album for
only
it.
the audio tape.
Right.
I had the old audio tape for Empire Strikes Back, and you can put that into a Teddy Ruxpin, and his mouth moves for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That's kind of impressive.
They had those characters called the Fobs that were just hand puppets, that they were like part of the whole world. Like I remember that Teddy Ruxpin craze really well because my brother had all that stuff.
There's Teddy Ruxpin. There's the My Pet Monster. You remember them?
Oh, yep. I loved My Pet Monster. Never had one, but I always thought he was cool looking. And now I have like a little, like Super 7 made like little reaction figures of him. So I bought those. So it's like now my my action figures have a My Pet Monster action figure.
The My Pet Monster, I have the original one. It is a puppet. Like you can operate the hands and the mouth and everything. It's got the handcuffs on it and as well. But yeah, that's there's something that you could throw into a Toy Story film. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. No, My Buddy though. That's too close to
Chucky.
No.
I was gonna say just put Chucky in the movie,
right?
Or have a possessed My Buddy doll and play up on the joke that we all think My Buddy is Chucky.
Oh, there you go. It's like his name is Charles.
Yeah. And I love you.
The thing that still makes me laugh in that first Chucky movie though is when he's just lying in the elevator and that old couple like goes up and then the lady looks back and she goes, "Ugly doll," and he's like, "F you." For some reason, I know it's coming. It makes me laugh every time.
Dude, that is my second favorite part of that movie. That I love that scene. The one that I quote regularly is, "I thought we were friends till the end. This is the end, friend." And he lights him on fire. I love that scene. I love that line.
That's a great bit. I like in Bride of Chucky when wait, are you gonna put on a rubber? Babe, look at me. I'm all rubber.
He went from that to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Man.
Well, he started in Dune and then went to that and then Lord of the Rings.
There was one year, it was the first year I think that Chucky was at Universal, and apparently Brad Dourif was like on the main night. He was in, you go to Universal, you go to Knott's Berry Farm, and they would have like the cowboy or whatever in the prison at Knott's Berry Farm, but there's like a camera or a mirror or whatever, and then there's a guy a little down the way who's like talking to you, so he can actually like make fun of your hat or like and you're like, oh my gosh. But apparently Brad Dourif was there with like cameras set up so he could see the crowd. Chucky was up on the balcony. And so when Chucky was picking people, Brad Dourif was picking people out of the audience to brag on as Chucky. But it was really him like sitting back there doing it. Kind of like, awesome. Johnny Depp would show up as Jack Sparrow at Disneyland on occasion.
All right. Yeah.
That had to be cool. The chat has some comments. We have He-Man from Robo Shlomo. Jamie says Spawn, Biker Mice from Mars, and Street Sharks. So we must be roughly the same age, Jamie, because that was all out.
I was about to say, yeah, Spawn, Biker Mice from. I didn't watch Biker Mice from Mars.
That was a dark cartoon show.
If we're gonna do Street
Cowboys
Sharks,
of Moo Mesa.
I was gonna say if we're gonna do Street Sharks and we're gonna do the other one, Biker Mice from Mars. Then we gotta do Cowboys of Moo Mesa and we gotta do SWAT Cats.
What about Mighty Max?
Mighty Max?
I watched Mighty Max. I didn't watch Biker Mice from Mars, but I knew of it and I saw the
Script
commercials.
is the joke they lose every piece of Mighty Max, like when they're doing stuff. They're like, "Oh, we lost Mighty Max again." And he's stuck back at the headquarters or wherever they are.
He's like on the street and he's stuck in a piece of gum. Like,
Yeah, guys. And you know, it's the messed up part is like they lose him in the middle of the movie and they never address it. And then at the end credits, it's just Mighty Max stuck in a piece of gum. Like, oh no,
guys, I love it.
Susan says Johnny West, the animated Lone Ranger, and Lord of the Rings. I would watch. I would love to see an Elijah Wood action figure team up with Buzz Lightyear. That shit would make me laugh.
Good. Maybe like, you know what? To put a Clash of the Titans Perseus figure.
Oh, and then Thundercats too. You got to get them in there.
Oh yeah, you got to get the Thundercats.
That was before my time, but yeah.
Oh,
watch the 2000 series.
Yeah, that's with Will Friedle. He plays Lionel in that one.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. That was a cool way to make like Third Earth more interesting.
No, that was we were really good. Like that was a really good time because you got that Thundercats cartoon, and then you had the Mike Young Productions Masters of the Universe, which was the superior version and still superior to the Kevin Smith version. Although the animation on that one is beautiful.
Yeah,
but
that's
the story,
one thing they got right on that. On the Kevin
Smith. The first season is crap. It didn't have to be a couple of minor tweaks, and you could have salvaged that story. The second season is better, but like still, you get some stupid Kevin Smithisms in there, like some really dumb jokes, and then at the end, you get some nice Tim Sheridan, like He-Man, going like, "Oh, we're gonna be a democracy now instead of a kingdom, so that everybody has more agency." And they're just using all these like buzzwords from like the current day. And
oh
you're like,
man.
Eternia wouldn't do that. Like, there's already a ton of agency for the people of Eternia.
Yeah.
Let's see. Joe says counterfeit Spider-Man from China, Thundercats, and Donatello from TMNT.
We have a Japanese Spider-Man who has a freaking mech.
Did you see they just released a Japanese Spider-Man Hot Toys alongside with the Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man Hot Toy?
Did they really?
Yeah.
Just this afternoon.
My
yeah.
Lord.
All right.
My Instagram feed has been filled like for the last couple of weeks with the freaking different amazing Spider-Man Hot Toys, and I'm just like, man, stop putting this in front of me. I know you're tracking my Google history and my search history and all of that. Like, I know I love these movies. Stop putting this $400 figure in front of my face.
Now, Aaron, I know you got to go. We're going to close out the show because it's time.
Okay.
I'm just going to read this message from our friend, The Healthy Man. What's up? Long time no see. He says, Jeff the GOAT. I am still here, my friend, and I am still the greatest of some dimension. But, Aaron, where can we find you on the internet before we go?
You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. You can even find me on Facebook, but I probably will not respond to you there because I rarely check that. I don't like Facebook. I only have it so I can be in a couple of toy groups, and because a couple of companies that I work with on occasion can insist on doing all their communication through Messenger. So you can find me there. You can find me Saturdays on Thinking Critical with the Comics Aficionados show. We just had Jeff on last week. We had Andrew on the previous week. So I don't know who our guest is this week, but it'll be another exciting show while we all talk comics, movies, and TV shows. And aside from that, you can also, you can just find me here on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, and folks, where can they find Kneel Before Doomface?
They can find Kneel Before Doomface on Kickstarter. I'm like, as we've been going tonight, like all this week, I've been trying to get a hold of my production person because like this is the week that I had set aside to send the book to print. So I need to communicate with them, but haven't been able to get a hold of them yet. So if you want to jump in, now we are going to overprint some of the covers, not all. Some of the covers will end up being very rare because of that. But if you want to jump in and you want to go check it out, it's on Kickstarter still. You could still go in and put in a pledge to make sure that you get whatever cover that you want. But the digital editions have been released. The book is complete. A lot of people have read them. Script read it and actually gave me 2 great notes because he caught 2 things where the wrong print file page was used. So mistakes that should have been corrected were in the digital file. So those have been corrected for print. So go check it out.
Andrew, we can find you at the Riververse. Anywhere else we're going to be streaming?
Oh gosh, Thursday nights. At usually between 6 and 7. It depends on how much work I have to finish up and how much my co-host has to get prepped for. We run a weekly new comic book review channel called Foil Variant. because we're both kind of semi-pseudo obsessed with foil variant covers. We have a lot of fun with that. We review the books that came out during that particular week. Sometimes we have some bangers. Sometimes we have some meh. And sometimes we have some blah, and we let you know about it. We're not shy about letting you know if we love a book or if we really don't like a book. We kind of pull no punches on either side. You can also find me usually on Sunday nights on my Caffeinated Wolf YouTube and Twitch channel, where I game with my Discord friends, usually playing some Mario Kart and some Mario Party, just having a couple of glasses of wine, yelling at each other, and then laughing about it afterwards. It's a good time, and it's a great way to like put a cap on the weekend as we go into Monday, and remember that at the end of the day, we should all be kind of a bit of a community and have some fun and have some laughs together, regardless of whether or not we agree on one thing or another, before we go into our regular grind of Monday through Friday. Outside of that, for those of you who supported Ripazine number 5 over the Riververse, which has my short story comic book debut in Blue Shift tryouts, thank you so much for supporting that, firstly. Secondly, that, as I've been told in the last couple of days, is currently being folded and assembled at our printer. So that will be being shipped to our warehouse soon, within maybe the next week or two. And then I'll just have to sign the CGC copies for whoever was crazy enough to want my scribble on the cover of their book. And then we'll start getting those orders out to people. But thank you so much for supporting that. Thank you for supporting indie comics in general, whether it's Kneel Before Doomface, whether it's Stealing Solo 2, whether it's Ripazine 5 and Blue Shift, or anything else out there that you're supporting. Indie comics is where it's at. Thank you for supporting those endeavors. And Script, write an indie comic.
Yeah, I was going to say you should support Script Doctor Presents. I don't know what it's about yet. I don't know what he's presenting, but I'd read
bully
it.
him into writing an indie comic.
That's right.
I mean, I've edited a few. I'm just wondering when they're going to be announced for their campaigns. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. I have lots of stuff I would write. Basically
Good.
everything that I pitched to DC that they said, yeah, we'd love to do that. Oh, you're Canadian, huh? Yeah, we're not really gonna.
If I have anything to say about it, then the next time we do an anthology series, I would love to grab the lot of you for a short story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And script. If you want to do a Kneel Before Doomface 3-page Colonel Silverstreak PSA.
Ooh.
Those are always
Ooh.
available.
Oh, cool. I'll think about some of those because I remember growing up watching a lot of PSAs in the late 80s and early 90s, and there's some there that you could really have some fun with.
Yeah, I think the next one that I'm doing is there's a classic G.I. Joe PSA where there's a downed power line and the kids are like, let's jump our bikes over it. And then Roadblock shows up and he's like, no, kids, don't do that. So we're going to do that. But of course, Colonel Silverstreak is like, jump your bikes over a downed power line. What are you, a bunch of pussies? Let's amp up the danger. This is America, kids.
I love that. I love that.
Well, folks, you can find me here because you've already found me here. So thank you for watching. But one of the stretch goals will be a foil variant for Stealing Solo 2. So I will let you know those numbers. But that's what, if you look at the cover where it says Stealing Solo on the Mark Hamill one and it's in white, I want that to be in silver, like a silver foil, just like the old Star Wars stuff. So
guys, make it happen.
Goals. Yeah.
Make it happen. I just saw the limited edition box and said there's only like 10 of these, so I need one. Make one of my covers foil, please.
Yeah, I would love to make the covers foil, folks. It's been my dream. I mean, it would. I don't know. I'd have to look at this logistically on another campaign, but I eventually want to get a hardback. I think that would be cool because these are big graphic novels. But
when you do the full Stealing Solo trilogy, right? You make that. You got your whole omnibus there. Make it a hardback, a nice slipcase, right?
It depends on how much that costs to print. The slipcase part, the hardback, definitely.
Or dust jacket, maybe.
I want to do a book like the old Star Wars laser discs, but that's a topic for the future. Folks, we need to get Stealing Solo 2 to break those records. Let's not worry about the future. Let's worry about the present. But you have until December 11th to back that book. We already passed our first funding goal, which means it's happening in a week, and we're already on our way to greener pastures. Join me tomorrow on the 3POA podcast at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Laser Pants and the crew, like Chad, are going to be talking about Stealing Solo 2 and a whole lot more. I'll share some extra exclusive stuff over there on the channel. But until next time, folks, Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting WCBS. And thank you for being excellent and awesome. But until next time, be smart, be safe, be cool. And again, always be excellent to each other.
God.
I'm Brie Larson, and this is